Please stand for the national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Gavrilos.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Viewers and listeners can access the meeting today by either watching on Comcast channels 234 and 235, UVerse channel 99, or by using the YouTube link on our webpage at palmbeachschools.org. In the event that the link is interrupted for technical reasons, please switch over to the TV channels. All board meetings are recorded in their entirety and posted on the district website within 24 hours. We also offer a listing-only option, which the public can access by calling 561-357-5900 or toll-free at 1-866-930-7015. The meeting ID is 1-561-880-1124#. Board members, we have 6 sets of minutes on the agenda for approval. I'll take a motion to approve. Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Ms. Whitfield. Any discussion? All in favor, all opposed, motion carries unanimously. Okay, I have an item to add for good cause. P3, the personnel addendum. Good cause exists for adding this item so that employees can begin in their new positions as soon as possible. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any items to withdraw?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, pulled from the board agenda, we have items PC3, POL CHW1, POL CHW2, POL CHW3, POL CHW4, POL COS2, POL COS4, POL S7, POL COS8, POL CO59, POL COS10, POL COS11. Board members, does anyone have anything else they'd like to pull? Phew. Okay. So, all right. I'd like to take a motion to approve. Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Any discussion? All in favor, all opposed, motion carries unanimously. Board members, do we have any disclosures or abstentions? Okay, seeing none, that will bring us to superintendent and board member comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll have some good news to share. You know, this summer, the Florida Department of Education released our school and district grades, and I'm very happy to announce that we've maintained our A rating. And I want to thank our students, our teachers, our school administrators, and all the support staff that put in the hard work to maintain that A. And we had a good year. We have 120 of our schools that are rated either A or B, and 91% of our high schools, or that includes 91% of our high schools. We also have no D or F district-operated schools, which is great. And I have to applaud 2 schools that raised their letter grade from a C to an A, and that's Pine Jog Elementary and Rosenwald Elementary School. So great achievement there. So this is a big win for our collective Team Palm Beach, And we're very pleased with the results, but we know we still have a lot of work to do, and we're getting ready for another big school year in not too distant future when the kids come back on August 11th. Today I had a chance to spend some time with our summer interns. This is a program that we've had for several years, and it continues to kind of grow and expand. We now have students interning in our schools, actually in the classroom, working with students that are a little younger than they are. But we just took this picture earlier today. We had all the interns in to recognize them. And we have 87 this year, helping us throughout several district departments and several schools. And these interns, we learn as much from them as they do from us. It's just a great experience. And we're hoping that we're also recruiting some potential future members of Team Palm Beach through this intern program. So that's been great. I just want to remind our families out there with the young students, if you have a child that's ready to begin kindergarten on August 11th, they can still register. We're welcoming the class of 2038, and they can start that process online through our website, and we'll make it easy as possible to get you onboarded and part of our school system. And then on the not so pleasant news, I want to let you know that I'm still very concerned about 6 key federal grants that are being withheld by the U.S. Department of Education for a programmatic review. These 6 grants comprise $31.5 million in total, and you can see the list on the screen, but these funds are vital to provide a lot of the services that we're able to extend to our students, everything from aftercare to adult education and teacher training, you name it. There's a lot of grants that do great work here. We have employees that are funded through these grants, and so we're watching this very closely. We're hopeful that at some point the dollars will be released and we can carry on with what was planned, because these grants were actually approved by Congress, and we had already put our applications in, we already had our plans, we already had our staffing, everything in place for this school year. So to have the money withheld when we were expecting it on July 1st, it was an unexpected, unpleasant surprise, and we'll continue to monitor this very closely. And then I have the pleasure also tonight, we've been busy making sure that every school has a leader to start the new school year, and we've wrapped that up. So I'm going to invite our Deputy Superintendent, Chief of Schools, Ms. Jamie Wyatt, to the table. And we have 5 new principals to introduce to the board and the community this evening. So, Ms. Wyatt, the floor is yours. Looks like we might need one more chair. Thank you, Ms. Wyatt. You're doing all duties as assigned, I see. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Burke. I am excited to be up here today to introduce 5 new principals, and I'm going to start straight to my right. I'd like to introduce Christina Sanford. Palmetto Elementary seeks a leader with a proven track record of success in high-performing schools, skilled at cultivating a positive environment for students, staff, parents, and the broader community, thereby ensuring continued academic success for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Brill. Thank you. Let's try it again. Thank you, Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, school board members, Mr. Burke. Thank you so much for this opportunity and entrusting me with this very, very important job. To be a leader at a school has always been something that I've wanted to do, so I just want to start by thanking the Lord, because I know I wouldn't be here without him. I also want to thank this amazing board for allowing me this opportunity, and my family, especially my husband, who has been an unwavering love and support to me. I just wouldn't be here without them. And my mentors along the way, Miss Suzanne Machuela and the Jupiter Farms community, I'm just so grateful for their mentorship, her mentorship and foundation there. And of course, to work alongside the dedicated staff over at Palmetto. I am looking forward to it. I don't take this job lightly. I'm excited to get started with the students and community. Thank you for the opportunity.
We'll do this again. I'm excited to introduce Ms. Jenna Lee Hess. The Hidden Oaks community is seeking a principal who's committed to continuing the tradition of academic excellence and acceleration within their unique K-8 model.
Working? Okay. Good afternoon, Board Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, school board members, and Mr. Burke. I'm truly honored to be named principal of Hidden Oaks K-8 School. This is a responsibility I take with great pride, and I'm eager to work alongside all the individuals who have made Hidden Oaks the powerhouse it is today. I know I have big shoes to fill following Ms. Bremerkamp, but as a team, we will continue to soar and reach new heights as one school and one family. First and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to the amazing mentors who have shaped the leader I am today. Ms. Rosenswag, who gave a kid right out of college a chance to teach at a brand new high school. Mr. Myers, who saw the future leader in me. Mr. Tierney, who gave me the opportunity to serve as an assistant principal at John I. Ms. Patterson, who always taught me, don't get lost in the sauce. Ms. Wetzel for her guidance and support. And to my admin team at John I, I'm forever grateful to have crossed paths with you. You are not just coworkers, you are family. And Dr. Armis, without him, I wouldn't be sitting here today. He believed in me, supported me, never stopped pushing me out of my comfort zone, and taught me how to be a true servant leader. Next, I would like to thank my family, my husband for always supporting my goals and never letting me give up, my children who keep me centered, my parents who have been my rock, especially over the past 2 years. I know John is with us here today, smiling and saluting. Finally, I want to thank all the principals who have already reached out. The amount of support from Team Palm Beach has been overwhelming. This is why Palm Beach County School District is your best choice. Thank you.
I'm excited to introduce Ms. Jeannie Placio. The staff and community members at Sandpiper Shores Elementary School are seeking a strong instructional leader who is relationship-centered and dedicated to building trust and fostering a positive, inclusive school culture with all students and stakeholders.
Good evening, Board Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, school board members, and Mr. Burke. I am truly honored to accept the role of principal of Sandpiper Shores Elementary School. In my 25 years as an educator, I've been shaped by the most incredible leaders. Leaders such as Dave Clark, for seeing true potential in me from the start. Danielle Garcia, for showing me how to lead with heart. Jerry Ryapel, your calmness taught me that steadiness is strength. Dr. Joshua David Dow, for being a guided light as I motivated my way through middle school. And Jamie Wyatt, for challenging me to dig deeper, be better, and present nothing but the best because excellence is the goal. To the school community I have served the past few years, Dr. Rachel Capitano, Ms. Steiger, my South Area family, and all of my wonderful mentors, thank you for the roles you play in my leadership story. To my parents, my siblings, my in-laws, extended families, and the strong women in my life, you are my support and my foundation. To my loving husband and my beautiful 3 children, I love you dearly, Amora, Autumn, and TJ. And finally, thank you to the Sandpiper Shores community. I am so honored to lead this wonderful school and continue its legacy of success. Thank you.
Okay, I am excited to introduce Rachel Roche. The Coral Reef Elementary School community is seeking a principal who will be dedicated to sustaining, advancing academic excellence while fostering an environment where positive relationships thrive.
Is it working? Yeah, all right. Good evening, Board Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, school board members, and Mr. Burke. I am deeply honored and grateful for this incredible opportunity to serve as the next principal of Coral Reef Elementary. It is a true privilege to serve the students, staff, and families of this incredible school community. I'm committed to fostering an environment that supports not only academic excellence, but the social emotional growth of all students. I look forward to working alongside the dedicated teachers, staff, and parents to ensure every child's success and well-being. As a proud product of the Palm Beach County school system, from my early days as a kindergartner at Winbrook Elementary to now being the proud parent of 2 Palm Beach County students and an educator with 22 years of experience, this role holds a deeply special place in my heart. I feel a deep sense of connection to the community and am excited to contribute to its continued success. I would also like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to my family, friends, and mentors for always being my greatest cheerleaders. Their unwavering support and encouragement have played an instrumental role in shaping me, and I'm forever thankful for their guidance. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity, and I look forward to contributing to the ongoing growth, achievement, and success of Coral Reef Elementary. Thank you.
All right. I'm excited to introduce Altoria Henley. KE Canal Point Elementary School is searching for an instructional leader with a clear vision to sustain our impactful programs and thoughtfully broaden horizons for every student, all within a nurturing and supportive environment.
Thank you. Good evening, Board Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, school board members, Mr. Burke, Mrs. Wyatt, esteemed colleagues, and future acquaintances. It is with great pleasure that I accept the call as the newly appointed principal at Catherine E. Cunningham Canal Point Elementary School. Words can't express my gratitude for the acknowledgement of my resilience, tenacity, capacity, hard work, and dedication to education and humanity. Special thanks to Mrs. Angela Moore, Dr. Monique McTier, Glaze Region Support Staff and Team, Dr. Derek Hibbler, KEC Best in the West staff, Pahokee, and nationwide community activists. My legacy of love, and the Henley Party of Five. Mr. Henley, thank you for all you do. I look forward to your continued support in making a difference. I believe the best is yet to come. This new journey is heroic and historic for the city of Pahokee. Altoria W. Henley, the first African-American Pahokee native to hold a principalship in the community of the city of Pahokee. I am proud of this moment. Together, we can and will level up. Thank you. At a later time, I will address everyone individually. Have a great evening.
Well, thank you all. Ms. Wyatt, thanks for the introductions. We look forward to seeing you guys do great with your new assignments, and please maintain that enthusiasm. School's starting August 11th, and we got a big year ahead, so thank you very much. Madam Chair, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. That will bring us to Mr. Lane.
Okay, I'd like to spend my allotted time discussing this summer's FSBA conference. For the public, FSBA is the Florida School Boards Association. Due to the wisdom of our prior board, many of whom are sitting here tonight, our school district rejoined the FSBA. Now, the FSBA holds conferences twice a year where we share best practices with other school board members from across the state and discuss what's working and what's not. Now, I brought a few slides, and if you would get the first slide and amplify that one and make it a little bit bigger if you could. Anyway, on the left, the first slide, what you'll see is our superintendent and board members and the wonderful First Lady of our school district, Kristen Burke. And we also see my wonderful First Lady and Basheret Susan Lane. That would be the one on the left. The second slide shows our own school board member, Virginia Salvayeto, who's very knowledgeable about government affairs, explaining the lay of the land to participants at the legislative forum. The third slide is a picture of me attending the Career and Technical Education program, and that's what I intend to briefly focus on tonight. In Sarasota, they have a robust Career and Technical Education program. For purposes of this discussion, I'll use the acronym CTE to describe these programs. One suggestion that I picked up on is that students can take regular courses in the morning and CTE courses in the afternoon. In Sarasota, every student is given an assessment to explore career matches that align with their interests, skills, and personality. The district ensures that every student formulates a post-graduation plan. Every student has the opportunity to attend an expo where members of the trades come and they're offered jobs on the spot. In Sarasota, they provide students with opportunities for internships, apprenticeships, and community service opportunities in their fields of choice. The district studies the jobs that are available in the community and provides training and experience that students need to fill these open jobs. They formulated partnerships with the business community who provide support for their programming. For example, a hospital gave them $1 million to assist in training future employees for that hospital. Other businesses provide scholarship and work-based learning opportunities. Additionally, they have a strong college exploration program where they work with students and their families in selecting and applying for college. The takeaway is that since almost 40% of our students aren't going to college after they graduate, we need to ensure that we've prepared them for the future when they walk across the stage on graduation day. And I look forward to our upcoming CTE workshop, and I look forward to it happening soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Savalletto?
Well, I hope you all had, you're having a great summer so far. I want to give two shout outs, one to the school, our own school district attorney, Jean Middleton, who was officially recognized by Palm Beach County with a proclamation. She made history as the first government lawyer elected president of the Palm Beach County Bar Association and has served the public for over 40 years, including right here in our school district. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor, and thank you for your lifelong commitment to justice, education, and community service. The other shout out is to Florida Alice for their continued support of our students. Florida Alice has awarded $5,000 in student scholarships this past school district year, bringing the total to $14,000 since 2022. It was a joy to be part of the celebration and connect with these students as they share their stories and accomplishments. Congratulations to all the students, and thank you to Florida Alice. Proud to celebrate Ms. McGill and Mrs. Carvonen from Palm Springs Middle School, both former STEM teachers, and to my son Luca, on earning a STEM recognition program certification. This certification represents years of dedication and a commitment to preparing students for real-world success. Programs like this are how we open doors, create opportunity, and when we work together, we all rise. Congratulations again, and this is what impact looks like. I had the honor of presenting a proclamation on behalf of Palm Beach County Commissioner Greg Wise to the class of 1975. I was 1 year old back then. 50 years ago, graduates from 6 different high schools, including Forest Hill and John I. Lerner, my 2 high schools, walked across the stage during a time of profound social change. Gas was 70 cents a gallon, Jaws had just hit theaters, and Microsoft had only begun. But more importantly, these students were laying the foundation for future generations in Palm Beach County. Happy 50th reunion of the class of 1975. I invite all students to the Mind Your Business Youth Entrepreneurship Forum, a free event hosted by the Palm Beach County Equal Office Opportunity. I have proudly supported for years because it aligns with my belief that education equals economic opportunity, and we need to start early. Designed for youth ages 8 to 18, the forum offers hands-on workshops, inspiring speakers, free professional headshots, and an awesome lunch. Join us on Saturday, August 2nd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in West Palm Beach. All the details and registration information are on the screen. Let us inspire our future entrepreneurs and build a stronger community together. I want to end by sharing that during the summer, I have been visiting my schools, having candid conversations with principals. I am so proud of their hard work, vision, and dedication to our students. I am proud of every single one of them, no matter the grade. And while I want to give a special shout out to my A and B schools, I also want to be clear that progress matters just as much. And many of my C-rated schools have made real gain, and I am extremely happy. A-rated, I have Pine Jog Elementary, like Mr. Burke mentioned. They went from a C to an A. Winbrook Elementary and Forest Hill Forest Hill Elementary. B-rated, I have Palm Springs Middle. They're just 3% percentage points away from an A. Go Stingrays, Forest Hill High, John I. Lerner High, Palmetto Elementary, Okeechobee Middle, and Green Acres Elementary. And congratulations to Palm Beach County School District. We tied with Miami-Dade for the first place among Florida's 7 largest school districts with a 92% graduation rate. this is what looks like when we work together. Happy rest of their summer. Ooh, 2 seconds.
Thank you. Ms. Whitfield.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be able to be back here again after a long month away, and so happy to see everybody. I'm so excited to welcome everyone to the new school year. Yesterday, I had the privilege of registering my daughter for kindergarten, so it's tragic. I can't believe how much she's grown up, but what a fun time, and she's so excited. And so for any of you who have waited this long to register your kids for kindergarten, please get there soon. My principal said, I really would have liked you to come sooner than this, so I'm sharing that message with all of you, though she was very nice about it. So I wanted to just take a quick minute to recognize 2 schools who are just blowing me away with their scores this year, and the principals who lead them. I am so very, very proud of St. Aloysius Community High School and Dr. Kamika Robinson for getting an A rating this year. It is just an incredible feat that they have been doing. St. Aloysius is doing such a good job, and I'm so proud, and I just wanted to mention her. And then newcomer to the principalship, Dr. Moody Fuller, got a B at Boynton Beach Community High School, and that is something that hasn't happened in Boynton in a long time, and I'm just incredibly proud of both of them. Finally, though not in my district and in Miss Savieto's district, I do work a lot with Pine Jog Elementary, and I wanted to say a huge congratulations to Rachel Thomas for the work that they've done over there. It is just an incredible thing to have gone to an A at that school, and so congratulations, Miss Savieto, for your school. And that is all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Branch?
Thank you. Congratulations on the A rating for our school district, and thank you for the hard work to the staff and team for all your hard work. I hope everyone has been enjoying their summer and continue that until school starts. Thank you to the wonderful Barber Shop Quartet. Great job. Congratulations to all our new principals. And thank you, Mr. Lane, for the great CTE information. I definitely agree with you. Short and sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So next Saturday, July 26th, marks the kickoff of Project Uplift, the monthly community cleanup that's held by the City of West Palm Beach and the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. This month's event will convene at 911 9th Street, which is New Bethel Baptist Church in West Palm Beach. Persons who are interested, please get there between 7:30 and 7:45 for registration. There will be refreshments, food, and water for all participants. Students who are in need of volunteer hours, you can receive up to 3 hours by coming out to the event. So please come out. Make sure that your parent comes with you and signs the required waiver form. I also had a chance to stop by and speak with the Atlantic High School football team last week. The topic that I was asked to speak on was how being present equals success. But something occurred to me while I was speaking to them or formulating my thoughts, and it actually is not just being present that equals success, it's present, proper performance. So you can see the team there. I'm thinking they're gonna have a good chance to be state champions this year. They're really putting in the work. There's a little snippet of a video that was taken of me that I wanted to share with the audience as well.
Y'all should expect that of yourselves too. As far as that goes, it doesn't matter where in the county you're born, where your parents are from, what your bank account looks like, you should feel entitled to get everything that everybody else gets. Y'all should speak that way too. You follow what I'm saying?
So the reason that I think that was important is because going throughout the district, there are pockets where I think there's a ceiling on expectations from the students, from the parents, and some instances from staff and administration as well. And I think we need to break that glass ceiling. And a large part of my conversation with this football team last week was on them removing any limits on their personal expectations in terms of what they can do individually in terms of being scholarship athletes. That's a whole business now with the name, image, likeness piece to it. And so they have to kind of think of themselves as a corporate entity. And that requires them to do certain things, be exceptional in the classroom, perform well. Again, it's present, proper performance, not just simply being present that will increase your likelihood of being successful in whatever you do. So we had a really good conversation in that regard. I've not had a chance to look at all of the school grades across the county and specifically in District 7, but I do want to recognize Lincoln Elementary, similar to, I think, a comment that was made by, I think it was Board Member Whitfield a few minutes ago. That's a school that hasn't historically had a lot of B's and A's. And I believe that the principal has done an exceptional job there, and I think that the best is yet to come for the remaining schools in Riviera Beach. And frankly, there are several other schools that are just on the cusp of Bs and I believe also As throughout District 7. So similar sentiments that have been stated by other board members. Just continue pushing to the higher mark. The best is definitely yet to come. And I think I'll hold off on my remaining comments until we get to the discussion items. So that's it for me, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Andrews?
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. I hope you're making the most of these last days, relaxing and taking care of yourself. But before I start, I do want to tell you, I love the Barbershop Quartet. You are absolutely fabulous. You started this off great, and we appreciate you coming every year singing to us. It was lovely. Congratulations to Team Palm Beach, our leader, Superintendent Burke, and your team. You're awesome. We did it. We are A-rated again in the Palm Beach County School District, as determined by the Florida Department of Education. That's a big deal. All the A schools, the B schools, the C schools, all of the improvement from our students. Those who moved from a C to a B to a A, all who maintained a status. It is a great honor. Congratulations to the students first, the teachers, the staff, the families, the community partners for all of your hard work, dedication, and support. You did it. It's a big deal. So I want to say that again. You did it. It's a big deal. I want to take the time to recognize and highlight the Glades region for all of the A's and B's and C's. Rosenwall Elementary, I think you're going to see a picture come up there. They made history making there. On the screen, you could see that there was a proclamation given last night at the City of South Bay Council meeting, naming July 15th as Rosenwall A Celebration Day. Congratulations to Rosenwall. Pahokee Elementary, A-rated now by the state. Pahokee Middle Senior High School, very high B, 3 points from an A. Pioneer Park Elementary, a B-rated school. Glade Central High School, B-rated. Lakeshore Middle School, B-rated. Our Glades Region C schools are moving on up. Crossroads Academy received commendations, a commendable rating from the state of Florida, the highest you could get from the state. We are getting it done here in Palm Beach County, but I just wanted to highlight the Glades region. We made history in a lot of schools, and we want to stop and take a moment to tell you, you're awesome. All of the students in Palm Beach County, you are great. And I want to tell you, we've been working all along this summer, and some pictures from Crestwood Middle School, the 8th grade moving on ceremony. It was absolutely fabulous to be there at Crestwood, the Sparrows, and to say to the students, move on to high school, it's time. Palms West Hospital, new tower, groundbreaking ceremony. I serve on the board of directors there. A brand new tower will be coming to the Western community to help keep everybody well and safe. The 31st Annual Summer Institute, I was there. It was fabulous. Keith Oswald, Maria, it was fabulous at the summit. I loved it. It made a difference. And CAFSI, the Caribbean Association, continually to give scholarships every year to our students. You can see them, yay, getting that money. It was great. And the American Muslim Alliance of Florida Scholarship, the students, the seniors, getting those scholarships, getting that money. And last, thank you, FP&L. You have always been a partner to Palm Beach County. $20,000 scholarships. Pahokee High School, Forest Hill High School, you had a student that received the $20,000. Students from Miami-Dade and Broward, you were there. Thank you to our community partners, taking care of our seniors, helping them to move on to the next level as they enter college. Everyone, continue to enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you. So for all of you who are sitting out in the audience, you'll find cards out on the tables for the Heroes for Education Run Walk, which is going to be October 5th. It supports our Education Foundation. I'm sure you're going to hear more from James Gavrilos about this and stuffing the bus. But board members, I'm also going to give each of you one of these cards. And this year, I challenge all of you to be out there bright and early and join us for the 5K. And for the walk. And you don't even have to participate, just be there to support your Education Foundation. Tomorrow is summer school graduation. So I do want to congratulate, along with my colleagues on the board and the superintendent, all of the graduates who have worked so hard to get through and receive their diplomas tomorrow. And now I just want to take a moment to talk about item BCS1, the Comprehensive Safety Inspection Report. I am not pulling it because I don't want to have staff have to stay here tonight. I am supporting it, but I have to share some words. First, I want to say congratulations to Mr. Sanchez and to Mr. Burke, because in the years I've been on this board, I go through the almost 400 pages each time, and I look at all those violations to see where we're at. And really, the amount of serious violations, of any violations, has decreased so dramatically. We're meeting most of the completion dates. But I do have some concerns, which I shared with Mr. Superintendent Burke, and I will give him the papers that I've highlighted. We do have some items. They're considered operations serious, but they're really not so serious. But something that's been going on since June of 2018, removing storage from a mechanical room. It's been cited 6 times. We have something from 2019, removing and prohibiting storage at an exit door. I'm not going to say which schools these are. And then we have another one. I just want to mention this one. It has to do with storing gas for John Deere. That's also been there for many years. I think it was 2019. So I'm going to pass this along to the superintendent. Please know I appreciate all that you've done, Mr. Sanchez, Mr. Superintendent. I think we're doing a phenomenal job, but I'm going to challenge you. I don't want to see anything that's older than a year. So these things that have been out there lingering for years and years and years, as minor as they might seem, they're still considered serious. Please, I don't want to see them next year on the report, because I will stay up all night again and read through everything. So with that, at every regular board meeting, we do recognize our employees who we have lost, but with a moment of silence. I'm going to read the names right now. Martha Alvarez, who was a behavioral physical needs assistant at Sunset Palms Elementary, passed away on June 7th, 2025. Amanda Dawkins Burrows was a teacher of middle math 6 to 8 at Congress Middle School. She passed away on May 7th, 2025. Pierre Hayden, a teacher, middle journalism 6 to 8 at Bach Middle School of the Arts, passed away on May 24th, 2025. Crystal Peterson, a teacher of elementary school pre-K at Rolling Green Elementary, passed away on April 24th, 2025. And Robin Swisher, a trainer, tester, CDL bus driver at the Transportation Central facility, passed away on May 17th, 2025. So I'll ask for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Okay, that's going to bring us to presentations, and we don't have any. And then we don't have a student government report. So that's going to bring us to the committee reports. There is no academic advisory committee report tonight. The audit committee report is attached, as well as the construction oversight review committee report. We believe we have our chair, Charmaine Postal, from the District Diversity and Equity Committee here.
Good evening, happy summer. Board chair, vice chair, superintendent, staff, other board members, and everyone in your respective places. Charmaine Postal, chair of the District Diversity and Equity Committee. So I'm pleased to provide a brief report from our June 12, 2025 meeting. We approved the May minutes. I think I'm going on a different note. The cancellation of our subcommittee, actually we had a cancellation of our subcommittee meeting due to a scheduling conflict with our prior audit session, so we did not have a subcommittee meeting. However, we did have a meeting with our Chief of Student Health and Wellness, Mr. Oswald, that shared important updates, including confirmation that accelerated coursework will receive full funding following a special legislative session. And Palm Beach County was also recognized by the Sun Sentinel for its leadership in addressing chronic absenteeism. highlighting the impact of truancy interventions and the court dashboard systems. We adopted our proposed meeting dates and received a detailed report from staff Janina Simmons on the Florida Department of Education's Office of Equal Educational Opportunities, with all compliance documents due by July 30th. The district data in the report that Mr. Oswald shared showed a 21% drop in truancy overall, with a 25% reduction in out-of-school suspensions amongst Black students, the largest decline reported. Mr. Oswald also shared promising outcomes from the Stop the Violence grant and the Trusted Adult initiatives, which has led to more students identifying at least one student at school that they trust. The committee voiced strong support for these efforts and their alignment with our district equity priorities. Thank you for your continued support and leadership, and a more compulsive report will be emailed to each and every one of you. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. Okay, that will bring us now to a general counsel report. Do you have one for us?
No report, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. And Inspector General, do you have a report?
No report.
Thank you very much. So that's going to bring us now to elected officials and delegates. First up is going to be James Gavrilos, President, CEO of the Education Foundation, and wonderfully talented singer.
Thank you for the kind comments about our barbershop quartet. Mr. Sanchez, if it's okay, Dave Dolan could not be here when we were singing, so we're going to stand outside his window at 2 o'clock this morning and serenade Dolan. Is that... You take iced tea. Chair Brill, Superintendent Burke, Vice Chair Andrews, you very graciously said you hope that people are resting for these last few days of summer. We at the Education Foundation simply are not. My first request to you, the school board, and all of the regional superintendents who are here, our Go Teach grant application process is still open. Teachers can submit a Go Teach grant application up until midnight on Friday, August 8th. We have received to date about 112 applications. The biggest joy we have is giving away money, and Go Teach is such an easy opportunity. We are continuing to conduct seminars for the teachers. We don't ever want a teacher to not apply just because they don't know how to write a grant. So we actually conduct virtual seminars with Becky Youngman and Jennifer Etheridge, teaching the teachers how to submit a proper grant. So Go Teach is in full blast. Let me just tell you what's happened in the last 72 hours. On Monday, we had the Whites Company and the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County stuffing backpacks. Yesterday, we had 53 people from Office Depot stuffing backpacks. Today, we were at Carrier at their headquarters. Core Construction was on site. While the Multicultural Education was having their meetings at our facility, tomorrow, Poland Capital will be on site, and we'll be down at Pratt & Whitney. The point I'm making is we are in the process of stuffing 30,000 backpacks. Ms. Andrews, I'm going to need you unloading those trucks. You run a pallet jack like no one I've ever seen. We will be delivering to 50 of your schools, Superintendent Burke, 30,000 fully stuffed backpacks, but it only happens because of our incredible community partners, these corporations I've mentioned, and that's just in the last 3 days. Literally from now until July 29th, when we start delivering the backpacks, we have 2 corporations signed up every day for a 2-hour shift to come in and literally stuff, as I said, 30,000 backpacks. When we get to the end of July, I want to thank Armstrong Movers, All My Sons, my Patrioti, Good Greek boy, Spiro at Good Greek Moving and Storage, and Amazon, all of whom have dedicated their trucks, drivers, and volunteers to help us actually deliver these 30,000 backpacks to the 50 schools. While all that's going on, we're working carefully with CBS 12. Hopefully by now you are aware, it's been all over the news this week, CBS 12 is sponsoring the 2nd annual Stuff the Bus campaign. On Thursday, August 7th, we will be at the Office Depot on Okeechobee Boulevard, just west of I-95, with the school bus. I want to publicly thank Mr. Sanchez. Your partnership and cooperation has been absolutely essential. We thank you for letting us use an actual school bus. Throughout the day, companies and citizens are going to be bringing in supplies to stuff that bus to help our Red Apple Supply Program. So August 7th, Stuff the Bus. We'll be there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Dolan, I think you'll be there with us. But again, board members, superintendent, if you can stop by at all that day, CBS 12 would love to get you on camera and just have your thoughts about Red Apple Supply. Speaking of which, as you know from our past reports, we finished this year serving 96 schools. Hint, hint, teaser. At some point in October, we will be adding our 100th shopping school to Red Apple Supply. We will do that with lots of balloons, confetti, a balloon drop, and all kinds of fun and parties. So please pay attention when we send out the emails. Chair Brill, I thank you for your shout out for the Heroes in Education 5K. That is already in process. So Vice Chair Andrews, no, the Ed Foundation doesn't slow down during the summer. We actually crank it up. But we do it to support your incredible energy and to support our superintendent who continues to lead an A-rated school district with dignity, vision, grace, and ambition. We thank you, Superintendent Burke. Have a great rest of the summer.
Thank you. Gordon Longhofer, CTA President.
Good evening, Chair Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, Superintendent Burke, honored guests, the remaining members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to celebrate another A. I know we're all talking about it. We talk about it because it's worth talking about. It's a task. It's always a task for any school and any district to get to the highest level of achievement, but to maintain that year over year sometimes is even harder than getting there in the first place, oftentimes the way that things are structured. So I just want to be here to join you in the congratulations to our teachers, to our support staff, to so many others in many areas, in areas of curricular planning or school support or school leadership that help us get to this point and do it again this year. It's worth noting, and they deserve that, those accolades. We're here at the start, or the start of a new year, of course, is almost upon us. I hope everybody's had a chance to get some time for some relaxation and rest. But the excitement that comes with all of that start is always invigorating, but it also means that you're deep into a budgeting process. And as usual, these past few months, the state legislature came up short in funding our public schools. And recent events in Washington, D.C. just seem to be piling on even more in that respect. That said, our teachers, our support staff, again, everybody that we've all already mentioned tonight who has contributed to the success of our district, they've again earned an opportunity to have a raise that matches the work that they've done and continue to do every year, supporting our students, supporting our core mission, educating our students, and achieving these high academic accolades that we're so proud of. Therefore, I have to urge you tonight in this budgeting process, take a hard look always. You hear this from me again. I don't think it can be said too many times. Look at prioritizing people over programs. We know that highly effective teachers in classrooms are one of the most, if not the most important cog in getting students to achieve to their potential. And they don't do it alone. They do it with the help of others. And so literally these individuals need to be prioritized above something other than that, especially in times where government entities are not doing their part. So look hard, look where those things can be, items can be saved, where monies can be used in order to accomplish that task. I know that teachers will appreciate it, as will any of the other staff. It's worthwhile because they do all of this hard work to keep us moving forward, to get us here year after year to this point. So I urge you to do that again this year as we come to these budgeting times. Wish you a good rest of the summer that you might have if you've got any additional time yourself, and thank you again.
Thank you. Erica Henn, Vice President, Junior Achievement of Palm Beach and Treasure Coast.
Good evening, Chairwoman Brill, Vice Chair Andrews, board members, and Superintendent Burke. My name is Erica Henn, Vice President of Education for Junior Achievement of the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast, where we prepare students ages kindergarten through high school with real-world skills. I heard the updates from the board. I heard entrepreneurship, skilled trades. That is what we are here to do. Our three main pillars are financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship. So with the support of educators, our local businesses, and over 1,250 dedicated volunteers, we're helping build a stronger community by equipping the next generation with the tools and the experiences to succeed. For our year-end impact, this year, Junior Achievement has proudly served 157,309 students through hands-on, standards-based programs focused on those three pillars. We've seen it through High School Heroes. We've seen it through College Champions. We've seen it through our career fairs, both at Palm Beach State College and on the school campuses, and we're looking forward to continuing that work. As we strengthen our district partnership and as part of Superintendent Burke's Community Experience Initiative, everybody loves a field trip, we are thrilled to support plans to serve all 15,000 eighth grade students through JA Inspire at Cacti Ballpark of the Palm Beaches this fall. To kick off this monumental event, we are hosting a celebration and volunteer recognition event on August 22nd, so mark your calendars, from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock right at Cacti. We invite you all to attend as we kick off the new year. This year, we will continue hosting those career exploration fairs so students can see the opportunities that are available to them. This year, for high school and elementary, it'll be right on campus. We are removing any barriers for getting students, so it will be brought right to them. In addition, we're working very closely with the AVID department to explore ways we can collaborate and create meaningful opportunities for students to better understand their career pathways. I want to give a special thank you to Colleen Carney. She came out to a lot of our events last year, and her efforts in helping us bring together a stronger partnership. In looking ahead, we don't stop over the summer. We're planning for the new school year. We're actively recruiting businesses. We really want to provide a variety of career industries for our students so that they can see their opportunities. We have many already confirmed. We have programs being confirmed. You think the teachers are at the beach, but they're responding to us, and they're ready to get going, and that's why we're an A-rated school. That's why Palm Beach County is the place to be and your best choice, because all of the hard work that goes into it from our board, our teachers, our administrators, our families, and everybody else. We appreciate the school board's support in helping us to recruit volunteers. Together, we are building brighter futures, and we are incredibly grateful for our ongoing partnership with the School District of Palm Beach County. Thank you.
Thank you. Sylvia Hall, PTA, PTSA President.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. The mission of the PTA is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. We just came back from the Florida PTA Leadership Convention that took place from July 10th through July 13th. It was really an amazing conference. Total attendance, 1,152 people. And it would take more than 4 minutes to talk about all the workshops, the training, leadership academies, advocacy panels on the future of public education, and on the school board that delivers for families, family game time. You know, there were a lot of things. This year, we have over 163 students attending the conference, and this was a record. Special thanks to Florida PTA Student Empowerment Committee. The committee is made up of high and middle school students throughout the state of Florida who have chosen to be different makers in the lives of others around them through advocacy and how they lead to be the voice of the student's body, gather feedback, and raise concerns. It offers different perspectives within the student body, educators, administration, school, and community, understanding backgrounds of people and their needs, because we are all unique. Students can join PTA, can be part of the SAC committee, being present in spaces where they can use their voice and advocate for others in order to seek the betterment of your community. They can be present at the school board every month, and students can meet with their representatives at the state and local official. It is at this level where the policy happens. I will invite our students, our student representative that is not here today, to join PTA and PTAs, and I will ask all the board members here and everybody in the audience to please join a PTA or PTSA. There are other, and I will encourage the students to join a PTA. Students can join PTA even if you don't have one in your school. They can join the Sunshine, that is a statewide PTA, or they can join to the Kaleidoscope PTA. This is the Florida first statewide PTA focus on supporting LGBTQ plus youth and their families. At this convention, we raised over $12,000 for student scholarships for the 2026 graduates. Please be on the lookout for our 2026 Palm Beach and Florida PTA scholarships. And back home, we are planning our first annual meeting, the vendors fair and local unit fall training. And this will take place on September 8th. We are finalizing the location. Once everything is all set, we will be inviting you to attend and get to know your local and county PTAs. We would like to know how we can support the school district moving forward, and how can the district support more than 12,000 PTA members. Congratulations on Boynton High School. They have chartered the first ever PTSA. And if you'd like to know, any of the schools here would like to start a PTA in your school, please contact me at president@pbccpta.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So that's going to bring us to our agenda topic speakers. On behalf of the entire school board, I'd like to welcome any public speakers who are joining us today. Our policy provides that we do not respond to or engage with our speakers. However, we do make note of your issues and we follow up with district administration regarding them. As a reminder, agenda speaker comments must relate to the subject matter of the agenda item, which the speaker has requested to address. Additionally, all non-agenda speakers' comments must relate to educationally relevant topics or the operations of the school district. Pursuant to school board policy, speakers whose comments do not relate to the topic that the speaker indicated or are not otherwise educationally relevant as required for non-agenda topics, or whose comments disrupt or interfere with the order of the meeting may be subject to removal from the meeting or having the microphone turned off and forfeiting the right to speak at the remainder of today's meeting. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. In accordance with school board policy, the microphone will be turned off when the time limit has been reached. When you speak, please state your name for the record, and thank you for joining us. I'll call you up 2 at a time. I'm going to try very hard not to mispronounce your names. I know I'm going to mess a few up, so please pardon me. And we'll start with Brigida McTeague and Karen Matroni. If you can come up to the microphones, please.
Good evening, Superintendent Burke, school board members, and residents of our community. Thank you for your commitment to the students of Palm Beach County. My name is Brigida McTeague, and I'm a retired teacher of world history, African, and African American history at Park Vista Community High School. I also worked as a media specialist in Palm Beach County schools for many years. On the board agenda this evening are 4 items that concern the repeal of language and district policies concerning diversity, equity, and inclusion. These include the updating of the Equal Employment Opportunity Policy and the repeal of the Diversity in Business Practices and the Diversity and Equitable Utilization in Business policies. A new non-discrimination statement on tonight's agenda also removes language that has in the past affirmed efforts to recruit women and minority-owned businesses to participate in the district's bidding process. I would like to challenge the board to maintain longstanding hiring practices that encourage businesses owned by underrepresented groups to apply for district contracts. It is also vital to continue to encourage the hiring of diverse, culturally responsive teachers so that all of our students can feel that they belong, are valued, and can thrive. Keeping DEI policies in place would acknowledge the centuries-long past discrimination in our country by both institutions and individuals that continues to cause economic and social disparity in the present day. It's simply the right thing to do, despite the enormous pressure at this time to whitewash the past and to pretend that we have achieved equity already. As the 10th largest school district in the nation, we can make a notable difference by demonstrating the courage to stand up for what we know is right without being intimidated. Taking a position of leadership on the currently controversial issue of DEI policies in hiring would surely be newsworthy and encourage other communities to join us in acknowledging those aspects of our history that continue to deny equal opportunities for women and minorities. We not only need to deal with the ongoing legacy of racism and discrimination from the past, but we must acknowledge that each of us is a part of history being made in the present, both through our individual actions and through the institutions we serve. If we have ever wondered what we'd do during slavery, the Holocaust, or the Civil Rights Movement, it's what we're doing right now. Thank you in advance for standing up for what is right.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Matroni, and I reside in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm a cisgender white woman who lives in the suburbs of Boca Raton, so of course my name is Karen. And all those points come with privilege, and I'm using that privilege today to beg you, implore you, to not get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in our school district. I'm sure you know that eliminating these policies eliminates opportunities for women, people of color, LGBTQ+ people. I don't want just straight cisgendered white men teaching our kids. And did you happen to know that most of our teachers are not straight cisgender white men? These policies help those that you hire, not those that you want to hire. As Florida is dead last in teacher pay, I would think you would not want to get rid of policies that make it harder or make it easier to recruit people. If you eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion, you are slapping the face of those in your employ that fit that demographic qualities. You are giving the teachers the message that you don't care. And I know you would not be sitting on a school board if you didn't care. Political pressure should not be the reason we get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our school district. We should not bend a knee to an authoritarian regime that is overstepping itself. Don't send that message to our kids. Don't be that school board that goes along to get along. And I'm sure you know that multiple courts have ruled against the administration in taking that funding away from you. Please do the right thing and keep diversity, equity, and inclusion in our public school system. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane Schneider and Kai Walker.
Good evening, all. My name is Kai Walker. I'm 23, and I use he, they pronouns. I'm a graduate of the Palm Beach County School District and a proud child of educators. I'm also an FAU student of social work, and I work at Compass, our local LGBT community center. It's a very long way of saying that I'm very busy and spend a lot of time doing a lot of stuff. Palm Beach County is an incredibly diverse and expansive area, and our schools should reflect that. The repeal of diversity, equity, and inclusion practices in our district does not represent what Palm Beach County stands for. Our youth deserve to see people who look like them in the schools, to hear from people who identify like they do, and to see successful people like them, because representation saves lives. As an LGBT identifying student, I never thought that I was gonna be the age that I am today. I didn't think that graduating was possible for someone like me, to go to college, to get a job. Seeing those LGBTQ+ adults as a teenager saved my life. It gave me hope, and it proved to me that I matter in a world that tries to tell me every day that I don't. For students of racial and ethnic minorities, seeing someone at school who looks like them simply changes everything. For students of lower socioeconomic backgrounds, being told that they matter, that their financial status does not define them, that they deserve the opportunities everyone else has been given, means the world. Young girls deserve to see strong, successful women and to know that they can be that one day. I urge you to stop the repeal of these vital policies for our current and future students. Every student deserves to feel seen, heard, uplifted, and empowered for who they are. The removal of these policies is sending a direct message to our students and staff of diverse and marginalized backgrounds that they do not matter. This is something I felt every day as an LGBT student. Nobody, especially our youth, deserves to feel that way. Right on the wall in front of me is the mission statement of Palm Beach County, which I would like to remind everyone of. The mission of the School District of Palm Beach County is to educate, affirm, and inspire each student in an equity-embedded school system. The repeal of these various diversity, equity, and inclusion policies is going directly against that mission statement. I encourage you to reconsider your repeal and remember the diverse students, families, and staff that you represent. Thank you.
Thank you. Diane Schneider, are you here?
Good evening, Superintendent Burke and esteemed board members. My name is Diane Schneider. I've been an educator, retired now for a while, but I taught for 40 years in New York State. I'm an online professor for Teacher Education Institute. I'm a member of the national cadre for the National Education Association for LGBTQ+ awareness and bully prevention. I'm also a member of HRC's Welcoming Schools. Adrienne Rich has said, when someone with the authority of a teacher describes the world and you are not in it, there is a moment of psychic disequilibrium, like looking in the mirror and seeing nothing. Every child deserves to feel seen, heard, and supported in the classroom. The best way to serve a diverse student population is to have diverse, talented educators and professionals serving them. When students feel like they belong, they're more likely to thrive academically and personally. This is a quote from Gerald Unks for the Gay Teen. Quote, within the typical secondary school curriculum, homosexuals do not exist. They are non-persons in the finest Stalinist sense. They have fought no battles, held no offices, explored nowhere, written no literature, built nothing, invented nothing, and solved no equations. The lesson to the heterosexual student is abundantly clear. Homosexuals do nothing of consequence. To the homosexual student, the message has even greater power. No one has ever felt as you do, has done anything worth mentioning. There are gay heroes like Bayard Rustin and Harvey Milk and others who need to be known and celebrated. Elementary school-age students need to have books read to them whereby the child has two moms or two dads, and they welcome families of all kinds. Human rights campaigns Embracing All Families is a workshop that is offered to schools to make the staff sensitive to the diversity that is the family structure in 2025. Anti-bully programs offered by HRC and NEA teach staff how to address common put-downs towards the LGBTQ+ population. When staff ignores terms such as "that's so gay," it sends a message to those who use it that gay is negative and sends messages to students who are gay and who have gay family members that they are bad or wrong. In conclusion, when a school district or business buys into an anti-DEI initiative, they are ignoring the needs of the population they serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Manish Chapman and David Rodriguez.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Manesh Chapman, and I serve as the Senior Program Consultant for a trans-inclusive group out in Wilton Manors. I'm here to speak on behalf of the agenda items related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. specifically policies 1.04, 1.09, 3.05, 5.015, 6.142, and 6.143. These policies impact students, families, and businesses across Palm Beach County, and I'm speaking in support for their full reinstatement. Let's be clear. When you eliminate policies like equal employment opportunity policy, the majority to minority transfer rule, and support for minority and women-owned businesses, you are not just erasing language from a handbook. You're erasing the lived realities of students, families, and educators who count on those protections to level the playing field that has been intentionally set to keep them below the playing field. So they give us things like DEI and use it as a yo-yo to create emotional distress, financial distress, mental distress at the drop of a dime. You're telling melanated students, that's black and brown students, that we don't deserve equal access. You're telling LGBTQ+ students we don't belong in the very spaces that you force us to be in. You're telling our communities that diversity is optional and equity is disposable. But us in the community, we know better. We know that diversity is not a problem to solve. We know it is a strength to uphold. And when we talk about equity, we're not asking for favors, we're demanding for what is fair. These rollbacks were done quietly, and we refuse to sit back while policies that protect and uplift our families are stripped away under the guise of restructuring. So here's the call to the board. Reverse course. Reinstate the equal employment opportunity policy. Restore the majority to minority transfer rule, and bring back inclusive business practices. And while you're doing this, most importantly, don't forget to include us in the process. We're not asking, we are holding you accountable, and we will keep pushing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you to the Superintendent, Madam Chair, and members of the board. My name is David Rodriguez, and I'm here once again to voice my opposition to the decision to eliminate the hiring practices and other policies that promote inclusion and equal opportunities to women and minority-owned businesses, as well as professionals working in this district. I know I don't need to remind anyone here, but I must again state it for the record that Palm Beach County is one of the most diverse counties in Florida. We know these policies have helped the district recruit a professional workforce that is reflective of the students that they serve. These policies have fostered a culture of respect and acceptance that make employees and students feel valued and included. These policies have created more equitable opportunities for local businesses and have ensured a wider range of diverse voices are included in important decision-making. The community has been showing up for months now, urging you to not reverse this progress. Having our professionals reflect the diverse community of students in Palm Beach County goes a very long way in making sure students feel seen, heard, and supported in the classrooms. As a former educator in Florida, I know that when students feel like they belong, they thrive in every aspect of their life. By removing these policies that promote fairness and equity in contracting businesses for the district, we are reducing opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses to compete for bids on a level playing field. These policies support the wider community of Palm Beach County by ensuring people from all backgrounds have an equal opportunity to partake in serving the school district and building prosperity in the most marginalized parts of this community. It's frustrating for this community to see that a board that's usually so proactive in doing the right thing for all members of the community suddenly shrugging off policies protecting equity in our schools. We appreciate you holding the line in other spaces, for example, the policies relating to bullying and the student handbook, but we need you to continue to hold that line and ensure that that energy is brought into other spaces like what we've been talking about here tonight. We understand the enormous amount of pressure you are under in facing such politically charged threats from the federal government. We know this isn't an easy position to be in, dealing with a bully of such magnitude, but it's in these difficult moments where decision makers like you have the powerful opportunity to stand tall and defend the community against political bullying. Multiple courts have ruled against this policy enforcement threats that the school board has been responding to. After months of coming here and advocating, I do need to point out, I have not heard one single community member state their support of this decision. With all this in mind and the future of the students, workforce, and community in mind, I urge you to please not undo the important work you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Vandernal and Kai Sharon. Please come up to the microphone.
Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellows, and the school board. Thank you for having me. My name is Kai Chapman, and I use they, them pronouns. I'm here with Prism Florida today, and I'm a holistic coach, content creator, and proud member of the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Palm Beaches. I grew up here in the acreage and went to Pierce Hammock Elementary in District 3. As a Unitarian Universalist, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We believe in justice, equity, and compassion, not just in theory, but in action. That means showing up when systems fail to protect the most vulnerable among us. Suspending DEI policies like 5.60 and 3.05 sends a message that diversity is disposable. When I was in elementary school, I was bullied and ostracized for being different and weird, and the school's response was to move me to a different classroom, as if I was a disruption when I was only trying to survive and learn. But diversity is not a problem to fix. It's the strength of our community, the richness of our classrooms, and the future of this country. Rolling back equitable hiring and support for minorities and women reinforces generational harm and inequity. Our school staff, local businesses, and organizations should be just as diverse as our students are. As a queer, non-binary person, as a parent, and as a community member, I stand here asking you to reconsider. I was taught in school that America is the melting pot of the world. Education should continue to reflect that. Every student deserves to see themselves represented, respected, and protected in their schools. You have the opportunity to choose equity, to lead with courage instead of compliance. Please do not let this rollback become permanent. Our students are watching. Let them see that we choose liberty and justice for all. We didn't say that in the Pledge of Allegiance every day for nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Vandernal, if you're here, come up to the microphone, and I'll call the next two, Anna Perez and Fred Fages.
Hello and good evening. My name is Anna Perez, and I am a recent graduate of the Palm Beach County school system, and I now attend the University of Florida. I have come today to urge you to not repeal the diversity and equity policies that have been proposed on the agenda tonight. As I was reading through the policies earlier, I was thinking about what I could say tonight. One thing that struck me was that the policies regarding anti-discrimination and with small businesses that the school district contracts with was older than me. The Palm Beach County School District has advocated for diversity and anti-discrimination with the small businesses they contract to for 20 years. I grew up in this school district, Calusa Elementary, Don Estridge Middle, Spanish River High School, and I would not be where I am today at the university I am today if I had not been given the support that the schools had given me. I am a proud, queer Latina woman. I am in the epitome of who these policies are designed to help. I was a student of the Palm Beach County school system, and I benefited enormously from seeing teachers like me. Equal opportunity in employment is still relevant and should not be repealed. Not only that, but I've also worked for the Palm Beach County school system as a lighting technician at my own high school, to Santa Lucia's High, all the way to Glade Central. And I never once doubted I'd be discriminated against because of policies like this. These things do not just happen. It is because that these things have been in place and that it came from years of enforcement. These policies that I came to advocate for today have vast amount of mechanisms to rectify discrimination within small business policies, small business contracts, as well as equal opportunities in employment. And it said within one of those policies that I've spoken about in Section 2A that being neutral isn't enough to remedy discrimination. Diversity and equity are highly politicized buzzwords now, but do not let that obscure your goal of equal opportunity for students, employees, and small businesses, especially those at a disadvantage. The school district has 20 years of precedent that it can be proud of. This is not the moment to go back on that progress. I urge you, do not repeal these policies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Fred Fegis. I have been a professor at Florida Atlantic University for 30 years. I came here in the mid-1980s. I taught probably the first course on LGBT themes and topics in South Florida, and I think, in fact, in the state of Florida. The first time I taught that class, I had 7 students. 3 of those students came up to me and asked me if they could enroll in the class as an independent study, because they didn't want the title of the class on their transcripts. The last time I taught that class, back in 2018, I had 40 students, which was the class cap. No student asked to change the title of the class on their transcripts, and in fact, I found out that probably 2/3 of the students in the class were not LGBTQ. In fact, 2/3 of the students were cisgender and heterosexuals. I asked them, why are you taking the class? Because they had a friend. They had a family member. They had somebody who was dear in their life who was LGBTQ, and they wanted to find out more about what was happening. Okay, so it sort of shows that having DEI, equity, and diversity ingrained in the educational process just doesn't benefit those persons who are Black, women, LGBTQ, or other minorities. It helps everyone understand the world. I support everything that they said about why we need the DEI, but I just want to say one more important point. Many of these policies, of course, could be argued that they don't affect the educational content of classes in high schools. Well, I think it's important to realize that you should not be laying the groundwork for future attacks on DEI. That in many ways, this may be the first step. And usually the first step is really kind of a soft step. But be aware, taking this step is going to open a door to future changes that are going to affect everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Davis and Eliza Dudelzak. Please come up to the microphone.
Good evening. My name is Miles Davis, and similar to other folks, I'm here once again to urge the board not to move forward with rollbacks to the district's DEI policies. Together, these policies reflect Palm Beach County's longstanding commitment to equity, both in hiring and contracting and in the use of public dollars. Policy 3.05 was about more than banning discrimination. It helped build a workforce that reflects the diversity of our students, a critical factor in academic success and school climate. Policy 6.142 ensured that minority and women-owned businesses had access to opportunities that they've historically been excluded from. It required the district to collect data and act with intention on that data. Policy 6.143 responded directly to decades of documented disparities in Palm Beach County. 3 separate studies found widespread underutilization of qualified minority and women-owned businesses. This policy created legally sound remedies tailored to those findings. It allowed race and gender-conscious actions only when race-neutral strategies proved insufficient. These policies were grounded in evidence and legality. There is no court forcing your hand today. The threats the federal government has issued have already been blocked by federal courts. If you roll these policies back now, it's a choice, and it's a choice rooted in fear, not in the law. And that choice matters. It sends a message that equity is negotiable, that inclusion is way too risky. But our students, our staff, and local businesses deserve much better here in Palm Beach County. They deserve leadership that doesn't cave to political pressure, but stands firm in its values, the values that are listed proudly on the school board's website. So I ask you, do not retreat, do not erase protections that took years of research, advocacy, and community engagement to build. We must stand up for what's right and protect equity in Palm Beach County, not just for students, but for the broader community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Eliza here? Okay, we're going to go to Max Fenning and Adriana Tender.
Miles is much taller than me. Good evening. My name is Max Fenning, and I'm the executive director of PRISM, a youth-led LGBTQ+ nonprofit here in South Florida. I know this is a bit of a cliche with public comment, but I do not understand why we're here talking about this today. Not because it's above my pay grade, not because I'm disengaged from the process, but because I grew up here. I'm a product of the Palm Beach County School District, from kindergarten at Discovery Key Elementary in 2007 to Binks Forest to Bach Middle School of the Arts to graduating Boca Raton Community High School in 2020. I've had the privilege of seeing so much of this county. And never, ever did I think we'd be here today, removing the very policies that embrace the diversity of the communities that I've lived in and learned from. It baffles me first because we have no legal reason to remove them. The emergency vote that initially removed these policies was a direct result of this memo from the U.S. Department of Education, which said that policies like these, the very policies that helped end school segregation, uplift women and minority business, and create more diverse staff, are somehow discriminatory. And you were threatened with a loss of $300 million in federal funding if you kept them in place. And that loss would have been devastating for our county. But then, that very same night, a federal judge enjoined the enforcement of that memo. So this is how the document is displayed on the U.S. Department of Education website right now. And in bright red letters, it says, on April 27th, 2025, the federal court enjoined the department from enforcing and or implementing the Dear Colleague letter. As a result, the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights will not take any enforcement action or otherwise implement the February 28th, 2025 Dear Colleague letter, associated FAQs, and end DEI portal, or the certification requirements until further notice. I printed out a copy of that document for each of you, and I'm happy to pass that over. If this finishes moving through the courts and they decide these policies are somehow a form of discrimination, then you can come back to this conversation. But regardless of how you vote today, you're getting that money. Don't worry. And so the second reason I'm so confused is that not only do you not need to do this, but nobody wants you to do this. Every person who has come to speak on this issue, the organizations that endorsed you, the people who elected you to office have told you not to do it. And using our online letter writing tool, residents across the county, your constituents, have sent over 800 emails saying so. Many of you have said that you agree with the contents of these policies, but that you don't think they need to be on a piece of paper. Some of you have been on this school board for a long time. None of you will be here forever. And you won't get to choose who sits down in that seat in 10 years. You won't know if they'll agree with the things that you agree with. You can't even hold people in this district now to those beliefs unless it's in writing. So if you agree with what's on the piece of paper, why would you put it in the shredder? And so it's your decision. One that won't just have repercussions on your reelection campaigns, but real people across Palm Beach County. We've spoken loud and clear. It is your job to listen. Please restore these policies, and thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Superintendent Burke and members of the board. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak and all of the work that you do. My name is Adriana Tender. I'm the program manager with Trans Inclusive Group, and I also sit on the board of the Human Rights Campaign on the Board of Governors. I come to you not just as an advocate, but as a Black transgender woman, a woman of faith, and a daughter of the South. I was born in Panama City, Florida, raised in the Bible Belt by a military father, and a mother who worked for the school system as an office manager, and a grandmother who cleaned houses by day and prayed over us at night. Church was every Sunday, and faith was the foundation of our homes. I was also raised in public schools, where I rarely, if ever, saw someone who looked like me, loved like me, or lived like me. And so I know firsthand how painful it is to be unseen, to walk through hallways feeling like your identity is something to hide, to not see your culture reflected in your teachers or your story honored in your curriculum. This is why these rollbacks hurt so deeply. When you remove policies that build a workforce reflective of our student population, you're telling Black and brown children, queer kids, trans kids, you don't deserve to see yourself in the people who teach, guide, and discipline you. When you take away the ability for students to transfer to more integrated schools, you shut the door of opportunity that many of us, our parents, mine included, sacrifice so much to keep open. And when you strip away priorities for minority and women-owned businesses, you are erasing the chance for folks like me, Black, trans, female entrepreneurs, to build a legacy that uplifts our communities to create real change. I know I now work with youth who are navigating some of the same things I did: survival, identity, fear, and faith. I mentor them, walk with them, and try to be a person that I needed when I was their age. But how do I explain to them that equity is being erased by those who are charged with protecting it? These aren't just policies, these are lifelines. They are a reflection of whether we see every child and every family as worthy of dignity and investment. I believe in a God of justice. I believe we are all created in that image. And I believe we cannot call ourselves leaders if we are comfortable erasing people in plain sight. People, I ask, protect our children, protect our future, lead with love, and do not let this be the legacy we leave behind. Thank you.
Thank you. So board members, that's going to bring us to the consent agenda. Let me just scroll down. I will now take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Ms. Branch. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That's going to bring us to new business, and the first item is actually a board item. Let me just pull it up here. Okay, so the board, we have to appoint one board member to serve as the Florida School Board Association Advocacy Committee representative and one board member to serve as the Advocacy Committee alternate. So I recommend the board approve the school board representative and alternate, but first I'm going to need to have somebody nominated to be the school board representative on the Advocacy Committee. Do we have any nominations? Somebody use your pad? Okay, Ms. Savalletto, are you volunteering or nominating?
I'm volunteering.
Okay, does anybody else want to serve on the Advocacy Committee? Well, I don't see any need that we have to vote on that, so Ms. Savalletto, you will be our representative on that committee. We do need someone to serve as a committee alternate. Does anybody want to volunteer?
Madam Chair, unless Board Member Lane wants to serve as the alternate, I'm happy to do that. But would you like
And
to?
I'll actually volunteer if you, since you're doing other committees there, I plan to be up there if that's all right.
Fine with me.
Okay, and I would be, because I have a feeling that Ms. Savalletto will be there most times anyway. But I'd like to jump back in. Are you okay with that, Mr. Ferguson?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then I recommend the board approve the board representative, Ms. Virginia Savalletto, and the alternate, myself, Karen Brill, for the Florida School Boards Association Advocacy Committee. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I'm sorry? We had first, I guess we need first and seconds for the alternate. Right, do you have it for both? Okay, so we need a motion to approve the two of us. Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Any discussion? All in favor, all opposed, motion carries unanimously. We've never done this before. Okay, so that's going to move us, Mr. Superintendent, to CAO 2.
Yes, this is an open public hearing item as we go through an instructional materials adoption process. So we've posted this for the public's information that we are moving forward with an adoption of K-12 English and Spanish language arts instructional material. So there's no action needed on the board this evening. And I can move to P3, the personnel addendum. And I recommend the board approve the personnel addendum as submitted.
Motion by Vice Chair Andrews, second by Ms. Branch. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
PC3, I recommend the board approve the RFP and associated contract with James B. Pirtle Construction Company, Incorporated, doing business as Pirtle Construction Company for construction management at-risk services for historic Roosevelt Phase 2, existing building renovations and new building construction.
Motion by Ms.
I just got to finish one part. And authorize the superintendent and board chair to finalize and sign all necessary documents.
Okay. Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Any discussion? All in favor? I'm sorry, Mr. Ferguson, did you pull that?
I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
pulled this just to let the community know, because this is something that's been followed very closely, particularly in West Palm Beach and in the north end of the county. Just want to applaud Superintendent Burke, COO Sanchez, and the entire construction crew. They've been moving as diligently as possible. We've had a few setbacks, not really setbacks, just some unforeseen delays based on things that a large part of the community in that area wanted, which kind of changes our calendar date, but things have been going very well. So I want to, again, tip my hat to Superintendent Burke, Mr. Sanchez, the team at Pirtle, and also Randolph Construction. I think they're doing a great job, and just keep up the great work.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, our next item, I recommend the board approve the development of proposed revised policy 5.1812, Student Code of Conduct for elementary students. I'm sorry, I need to refresh apparently here. Okay, I'm going to offer you another policy. I recommend the board approve development of proposed revised policy 5.002, protecting students from bullying and harassment.
Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Ms. Whitfield. I actually pulled that policy, and I apologize to General Counsel because I should have mentioned it today when we met, but I didn't, I forgot about it. And the reason that I pulled it is because when you go to line 17, first of all, it removes any reference to employees in the policy, and line 17 says that it references Board Policy 3.19, and I pulled the referenced policy 3.19, and there's a few problems. First of all, it's not fully aligned with Florida Statute 1006.147, which is the statute that's causing us to revise the policy. The statute says that each school district shall adopt and review the policy at least every 3 years. So that's one minor problem, because the last time it was reviewed was July of 2021. But the bigger issue is that it has to, the statute states that the policy must contain at minimum the following components, and in the components it requires a definition of bullying and a definition of harassment that includes the definitions listed in this section, and this section includes cyberbullying, for example. So the items underneath the definitions, they have not been updated to include all of that. So we need that in there. And so through the superintendent to General Counsel, I'd like her to bring back this policy. But when you bring it back, I need to be more clear. The policy that we're developing, it's very clear what we do when a student is bullied and what happens to the aggressor and what happens to the student. My concern is this policy has to do with employees. And sometimes employees are also harassed and bullied, cyberbullying, or however and I'd like to know what our responsibilities are when you bring it back. If you could let us know how do we treat that when it's someone on the outside? How do we protect our employees the way the statute requires? So, but we definitely have to bring back the policy, and I would also ask that in the future, when we bring back a policy and we embed a reference to another policy, we make sure that policy is up to date. So that's why I brought it back. General Counsel, do you have anything you wanted to say to that?
I would probably just call up Lisa Carmona, because I'm sure that most and much of this is based on the model policy, which statutorily we're required to follow. So I don't know if there's certain aspects of it that may require us to have certain language in there as modeled by the policy from DOE. But then as far as some of your other concerns with employees, that may be something worth discussing so that we can fully understand what it is that the board may want to see.
So that's not all. Okay. This policy is based off of the Florida DOE's model policy. We did, the reason why there's a reference to 3.19 was because prior to this, there had been some confusion as to what parts of the policy apply to students and which ones apply to employees. But we can certainly work with HR and with the employment team to revise both policies and bring them back up together, or at least take steps to bring 319 and align it and address those concerns you've expressed.
Thank you, and that's really all I'm asking for. I want to make sure that the policy, especially because the statute particularly says it has to be reviewed every 3 years, and this is 3 years. So we need to make sure that we do that. So, Mr. Ferguson, I know you wanted to speak.
Oh, Madam Chair, I actually thought we were going, my agenda indicated that the next thing up was 5.1812.
Okay.
5.1812, so I apologize. I was wanting to speak to that.
Okay. So is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I recommend the board approve development of proposed revised policy 5.1812, Student Code of Conduct for Elementary Students, grades K through 5.
Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Ms. Savalletto. Any discussion, Mr. Ferguson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Page 24, this was something that we discussed, I believe, last school year. I had serious reservations and concerns about the way the level offenses were set up. Specifically, level 1, it stated previously that the principal or designee may select at least one of the following from level 1 actions. Principals may authorize use of level 2 actions for, and this is where I took great exception to how it was worded, repeated, serious, or habitual level 1 incidents. I don't recall seeing where those 3 terms were defined, and the revised language is effectively the same. I mean, it's still giving the principal or the principal's designee the right to review and consider a higher level discipline code if the incident is repeated, serious, or habitual. Now, the way I use the word repeated, that's 2 or more. And I can't imagine how if somebody was late 2 or more times that gives the principal or his or her designee the right to escalate it to a level 2 offense. For an example, I don't know what serious means. What might be serious to me may not be serious to you. And habitual, what is habitual? Is it committing it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times? I mean, they're level 1 offenses. And so presumably these are lesser, minor type offenses. So how much of a minor offense do you need for it to escalate to an intermediate level or a much higher level? So I don't really see how this language, it hasn't resolved my apprehension in terms of how this could potentially be used to the detriment of a student. And I don't think that was staff's intent to do, but I still feel that you're leaving a loophole there. Principals are people too. Administrators are people too. They have bad days. And so, again, I think I kind of spoke to you all kind of jokingly about a situation where I was essentially put in in-house school suspension for chewing gum in PE in middle school. And so, things didn't go so bad for me, but some of our kids, you never know what might trigger them down into a downward spiral. So I would hate for a student who's committing, again, what we consider to be fairly a minor offense, as set forth here in level 1, to potentially be, placed in whatever, detention, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, whatever, because somebody believed that their actions are repeated, serious, or habitual, when, frankly, I don't see where we've ever defined those terms. So I definitely would like us to hold off on moving forward with these changes until we take the time to do that heavy lift, which is to actually define it. And I didn't see it in any of the other backup, and I apologize if I overlooked it, but I don't think I've seen it there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Superintendent.
Ask Mr. Oswald to respond.
Yes, and Mr. Ferguson, we did take your feedback to define repetitive, And you actually have to go to level 2. So under section level 2, in order to use the repetitive code, you have to have the CB code. It has to be documented previous corrective behavior strategies. So in order to go to a repetitive, you have to document that you actually did intervene at the level 1 offense before you go to the repetitive. And that's also listed on part of our training as we roll this revision out. And what documentation, what does that look like?
I read the entire, Madam Chair, can I continue my conversation with staff? Yeah, so I read all 60 pages, but I'm still not sure what you anticipate that looking like. So let's pretend you're the principal and I'm the student, and I committed a level 1 violation. Mr. Oswald, tell me how, and let's just use the first one. I'm tardy. I came to school late. I was 5 minutes late. I don't know. And it's not because the bus was late. It's just because my parent brought me to school late. So you gave me you said I'm tardy. All right, so tell me how many times I have to be tardy before my tardiness escalates from a level 1 offense to a level 2, as you understand, would understand it.
So if you were tardy, we would call you. So if I was an administrator, I'd call you in, talk to you about, and have a conference. I would contact your parent that you need to be in school and on time. Or if you're late between classes, document that I contacted the parent, that I talked to the parent. That would be documented, and if you come back the next day and it happens again, I could then go to level 2 and use a repetitive disobedience that you failed to follow through.
So because I was late twice, what is clearly stated as a level 1 offense can now be punished by way of a level 2 action, which is mediation, behavior contract, plan meeting, daily, weekly report, all these type of things, just by being late twice?
We go to a level 2. You could, depending on the situation, right? I would investigate it, talk to you to find out why you were late. Did you have a legitimate reason that you were late? Or you were just not going to class, skipping class, so it would be investigated to be looked at. So I would have to document first at the level 1.
Madam Chair, I won't belabor this, and thank you for the honest answer. I have serious reservations with giving anyone the authority to escalate from a level 1 to a level 2 for things that we deem to be minor offenses. So you're right. If I'm late, if I'm already on campus and going from period 1 to period 2 and I'm late, that's one thing. But say, for example, in my hypothetical, I'm not late because the bus was late, but I'm late because, say, my parent dropped me off late. You can't very well punish me for something that's out of my control. I have serious reservations about this, and even in my relatively brief time on the board, I've seen where parties in positions of authority have not meted out, if you will, punishment or justice, whatever term you want to use, I think in a reasonable fashion. And so I think we need to help staff in that regard, sir. And I don't think 2 of any of these things should warrant going, and I'm just speaking as a parent and as an attorney and as a board member, I don't see how any of those things that are set forth in level 1 can justify being punished pursuant to level 2 if I do it 2 times.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're correct on if you're late first period because it's out of your control, parent dropping off, we work with our schools around discretion on that to put in some strategies to actually address those type of issues. In our research, we did look at a number of different school districts and how they define repetitive. We actually took modeled it after Miami-Dade, that we thought that had the cleanest process to use the word repetitive, as we found other districts didn't have it defined.
So, but again, this is the first time I'm hearing about Miami-Dade. So how do they and how would you want us to define repetitive?
So if I may interrupt, I would refer you to page 52, which is the glossary.
Sure.
And then at the bottom of the page, lines 1357 through 1360.
Page 52 or 53?
52
anyway,
and 53. Yeah.
1357, so page 54.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So repetitive instances of disciplinary offenses or behaviors which are inappropriate and interrupt the learning environment, occurring when the student fails to comply with previously prescribed correctional strategies or directives. So it's not just the repetitive, it's the failure to comply with a strategy, with a correctional strategy or directive. So student is
I was looking at the
hates
wrong.
math class, right? And it's not showing up for math class till 5 minutes before the bell rings for that class. Once that student has been directed a couple of times to do this, then it becomes repetitive. It's a conscious disregard of a rule.
Repetitive instances of disciplinary offenses or behaviors, and I was looking at the other ones. That's why I was off when I was looking for 1357 on page 52. I apologize.
Yeah.
Repetitive instances of disciplinary offenses or behaviors which are inappropriate and interrupt the learning environment, non-CESA related, occurring when the student fails to comply with previously prescribed correctional strategies or directives.
That's where we took some of that from Miami-Dade in combination with the corrective strategies.
But that, respectfully, everybody, that doesn't address my question. If we go back to page 24, that defines disobedience / open defiance insubordination. That doesn't give me, and doesn't reasonably give anyone any indication what it means.
You can keep his microphone on because these are questions that went through the superintendent, and it's a valuable conversation. So please continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So everybody remember, my question was what's considered habitual, what's considered repetitive, and what's considered serious. So that definition, Council, that you just directed me to is not responsive to my concern. And I'm only thinking about the children's best interest here. So hopefully we can work on this.
So based on your situation, something's habitual around the tardiness, you would go to that definition and use the repetitive disobedience and code it at the level 2 when it becomes habitual, and you've documented those corrective strategies.
Okay. Where do we define what serious and what habitual is? I don't think that's clear, and that's not obvious to a parent or a student if they're trying to be in compliance with our rules and regulations. Like if this was in court, yeah, you would have some serious issues. But respectfully, let's continue. I don't want to belabor this. I don't think it's quite ready, but this is just my one vote. But can you direct me and those who may be watching this online, where do we define what constitutes something that's serious and where do we define something that's supposedly habitual?
We can go back and look at that as far as a more clear definition and see if we can come up.
That's fine, Madam Chair. I'm thinking about the kids. That's my only concern. As a parent, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, what are we trying to comply with? It seems very subjective.
What is, do you have a suggestion as to some proposed language that we could include there?
So Mr. Oswald just stated that you all looked at several other counties' policies. You didn't specify which ones, but I'm going to assume that you really did what Mr. Oswald said you did. And so are you all telling me that they also have these very ambiguous terms and they don't? That's a problem. And so just because they're walking around with their eyes closed doesn't mean that we should. Laws have to be clearly defined. I could just pass this off to Attorney Lane and he'll run and slam dunk this, but you have to define these terms. You can't very well escalate my punishment from a level 1 to a 2 or 2 to a 3 or 3 to a 4 and not give me the due process to understand that, hey, if you do this, and by this we mean the following, you got to tell me these type of things. And I just don't see it here. And so this is why I don't think this is ripe for approval today. And this is something that we spoke about last time. So perhaps I would, sometimes I do kind of speak a little fast, and I see now I want to slow down a little bit for you all. So I want to speak very slowly. This is very ambiguous. And so the same thing that was the basis for me saying that we shouldn't comply with the administration's letter, frankly, is the same reason why we shouldn't be complying with this. You're not giving people express notice as to what triggers escalation from a level 1 offense, something that's clearly categorized as a level 1 offense. We're not telling them how many times they need to do that level 1 offense before it escalates to a level 2 or higher.
And every one we looked at, no one defines a specific number. They use where, in the best that we've saw, where you're documenting an intervention occurred, and to get to repetitive, and I think the part where Ms. Carmona read that it's interrupting the learning environment is when it becomes more serious, a serious situation or habitual.
Mr. Ferguson, may I suggest, this is for development, and what I'd like to suggest is that you meet with staff and go over those concerns so that when it comes back to us again, we can have answers, and if you're not satisfied with where it goes, you can, document it for us too. But this way, because there's too much for them to be able to answer, and I want to make sure they address your concerns.
I'll follow with you all. But this was something, again, that we spoke about at the last time when we were reading this, respectfully. But I understand your point, Madam Chair, and I'll move on.
Thank you. So, Ms. Whitfield?
Thank you. I just wanted to ask a question about when a level 1 incident gets changed to a level 2, is there another level of supervisor above that person, whoever the designee or principal is, that is going to sign off on that?
So typically a school, the assistant principal, typically administrator, would handle something like that at a school level?
And does it get run by would it get run by the principal in that case? If an assistant principal does it, would they have a second person to see
Not
eyes on it?
necessarily.
No, not at all. So maybe that's a way we could adjust the situation to deal with Mr. Ferguson's considerations, that there's another level of eyes on this, just to make sure that nothing radical is being proposed from a level 1 to a level 2 incident, just to make sure. I always think multiple people help in that situation, so we don't have a rogue agent, is like what I think he's alluding to, is that someone may do something inappropriate. But in general, I do approve of the idea that some level 1 incidents repeatedly are then going to go up to a level 2. And so I think this is appropriate for that.
Thank you. Ms. Savalleto?
Yeah, I just like to tell a story to support Mr. Oswald, what he said about discretion. So last year I had a great conversation with one of Luca's former teacher back in elementary, just to know what was his success sauce. He's very good. And he gave me an example. He said, look, there are kids that are usually late, and he had one that had a lot of potential but was late all the time, and it wasn't her fault. She was in 5th grade. And he called the parents repeatedly, and the parents would hang up on him. At one point, they said, don't call us anymore. And he wasn't calling to complain, but just to say how important it was for the student to be on time because he saw the potential. So he decided to just not deal with the parents, but deal with her in a good way, mentoring her and doing a bunch of good things, whatever he did. And she went from testing and getting a 2 to getting a 5. So I think that if we can do more of that, and he, of course, has more than 20 years of being a teacher, and if we can do more of that, and on a base-to-base, and acknowledging the child, finding out if, he or she why it's late. And sometimes parents are not the solution, unfortunately. There's so many things happening at home. But when teachers can see that, these students are capable of doing better, but, they won't get the help that they need at home, they can step up. And I'm glad to see that happening. I bet we have a lot of those cases in school. So I think that's probably one of the conversations we have to have more with our teachers. Probably you're having it already, right? I mean, just giving them that freedom of saying, okay, I can work with this child because this child wants to do better, but, maybe doesn't have all the support. So I just want to say thank you to the teachers that are doing it. And I do know that we're doing great. And then if we can do better, that's great. But thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews, I'm going to call upon you, but just to make sure everybody knows that we've got 2 minutes to time certain for our non-agenda speakers. Ms. Vice Chair Andrews?
Okay, just a quickie. Thank you for bringing this forward. And when we think about the school base, having been a former principal, we have the school-based teams working closely with the assistant principals. And when we look at these processes that we're talking about, the principal, the assistant principal, the guidance people, your school-based leaders look at all of these components that we're talking about, and many times they will make a recommendation on how we move forward with any of these things. So it's not just one person at a school center. The principal has a whole lot of responsibilities, as well as the assistant principals, but students are identified early when we see patterns before we just take them to the next level. So this is something that we train our leaders within our schools to be sensitive in working with students once we identify some patterns of consistency that might lead for them not to be able to make it to the next level. So this is where you have a school-based team.
Okay, thank you. So board members, this is not adoption, this is just development. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes with 6 in favor and Mr. Ferguson opposed. So that's going to bring us to our non-agenda speakers. Again, just a reminder that it has to be educationally relevant. I'm going to call you up 2 at a time, Carl Muhammad and Curtis Sherrod.
Carl Muhammad. As we get ready to start this next fiscal school year, we still understand that Florida Statute 1003.42H is a reality in the state of Florida. And I've heard everybody mention there all different clusters of children tonight, but I still haven't heard no one mention our children, the African-American child. And we're suffering because we need that Florida statute included into the educational experience of our children. And as I've been talking with different people inside of the school district structure, I'm finding out that many of them are not knowledgeable about the accomplishments that we made in the past. And we went through a lot of turbulence in order to come up with some of the documentation that we have to present to the community. And we understand that for whatever reason, we don't seem to be able to get the sponsors like you get for the different programs that you have. We haven't been able to get that kind of friendship inside of Palm Beach County. That was the reason why we asked the last time if you knew anybody that was in your district that might be sympathetic to the problems that are plaguing the African-American community, that you would share those kind of people with us. And if you have anybody that's speaking with any kind of specificity inside of your district, we would love to meet them, because this year we're trying to come up with some new strategy from the community perspective, because we understand that we're going to have to do some training inside of our own community. And we see some of the impediments that continuously impede us, because our community think that the school district is poised to really push out the Florida statute, and you never mention the Florida statute in your dialogue. I understand that Mr. Bryan, the position that Mr. Knowles had, haven't been filled as of yet. So that means the person that we were supposed to be able to hold responsible, that person is not in place. So we're getting ready to send our children again with no direction, with no new tools. And I'm hoping that you can see the direction that we're going in, and we don't have anything new to offer the African-American children other than a grade level and the A-rated, and that kind of activity don't really benefit us. And I say these things because I've heard in the past from some of the people that they dislike because I come every time to address our problem. And the reason why I do such is because no one seemed to mention our children at all. And I'm not complaining, I'm asking you to take it under consideration with hopes that possibly if you do have someone that is interested in African-American children, you could refer them to us, and we would love to have that kind of relationship. And I'm hoping that after you do hire someone, we would have some kind of meeting so that you can get a better understanding from the community perspective of what our expectations are, because I understand that we have a big gulf in between our school district and our community, and we need to repair that, because we have had in the past a long, decent relationship. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I don't see Mr. Sherrod here, Barbara Cordovas, and Don Pearson.
Hello, Superintendent Burke, Chair Brill, and members of the board. My name is Barbara Cordovas. I'm an alumni from the University of Miami, Master's in Fine Arts and Communication. But I come to you here today as a concerned parent. I want to read something before I get into what I'm going to go and speak to you about. The Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution protects individuals from being compelled to make statements that could incriminate themselves in criminal matters. While this is primarily applicable to criminal proceedings, the principle of not being forced to admit something one didn't do is also relevant in the educational setting. That being said, I'm here as a deeply concerned parent. I'm the mother of a bright, sensitive, and imaginative 9-year-old boy. His name is Isaac, who has experienced an emotional harm and humiliation under the hands of one of your teachers. We moved here to Palm Beach County about 6 months ago, and I put my son into the school. A teacher is supposed to be someone who is entrusted with the safety and development, but instead, he contributed this. I'm very sorry. I'm very emotional and upset with this because the list is long. I would have preferred to speak with you in an appointment, but we're here right now. A teacher who was entrusted in his safety and development, but instead contributed to his distress and diminished his sense of self-worth. Let me walk you through what happened. There was a moment in class where a student was asking, is he special? One by one, all the students started asking if they're special. They stopped doing their work and they were asking if they're special. This teacher told every single child, yes, you're special. Mind you, my son was in this classroom for the first time after being homeschooled all this time, maybe the third or fourth day in class. And when my son decided to ask and stop his work like every other child, am I special? She told him no. He is not special because he stopped doing his work, just like every other child did. Imagine being a 9-year-old, you've only been in school for 3 or 4 days, and you hear this from your teacher. While all your classmates were told they were special, you were told you're not. That moment devastated Isaac. He came home hurt, confused. A child's sense of value should never be weaponized by an educator, especially not publicly. But that was not the only incident. On another day, during recess, a little girl bullied.
Ms. Cordovas, I'm going to ask that Deputy Superintendent Jamie Wyatt meet with you. You can step out or meet in the back of the room so you can follow up and talk to her.
Please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Don Pearson, are you here? There you are.
Good evening. Don Pearson, getting ready to start my 44th year in this county as a teacher, and I'm proud of that. Here's what I'm here for. I come here all the time and I say, hey, I see this issue, this problem, these kind of things. But to be fair, if I see something good, I better come here and let you know that. And that's what I'm here for. Unfortunately, I'm talking about bereavement. My mom passed away last week. And my son is in Houston, and all the family came down, even my daughter. We got her back from Prague. But my son traveled with his 5-year-old son and his 7-month-old baby by himself. I give him props for that. The reason my daughter-in-law's job, their bereavement did not count because it wasn't immediate family. They said that's your husband's grandmother, not yours. And if she left her job, it would cause some problems. The reason I'm saying that, I felt that watching my son not have his spouse for that support. So I thought, well, wait a minute, what do we do? And I want to tell you, I am so proud of the bereavement because we address that, you address that to where you include the spouse. And I know that's important because it hit my table. So I just want to say I'm so proud of that, and it makes me feel good that that support's there. And it was July 7th, and 2 of your principals, Dr. Amato and Mr. Myers, my principal, and Dr. Butler, in the summer showed up to the service, and that speaks volumes. So it doesn't matter what happens in the days at work where we agree or disagree, but when it comes down to it and someone needs support, I just want to tell you we have support, and I'm proud of that, and I want to make sure that you know to be proud of that. So it's emotional for me. Today is my dad's birthday, and he passed away way before his time. And You know, we all have to deal with it, but I'm so happy that I have the support, and I wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Connie Siskowski.
Thank you all. I'm Dr. Connie Siskowski, founder and president of the American Association of Caregiving Youth. I wanted to say a special thanks to Ms. Brill, Ms. Andrews, and currently Ms. Branch, who serve on our board. You know, it was back in 2002 that the school district participated in a school-wide survey called the What Works Survey. And as part of my doctoral research, I was able to add a family health section. And that was the first study. It went to over 12,000 students in Palm Beach County middle and high schools that documented the extent of family caregiving among students. And it showed that more than 1 in 3 were either missing school, having trouble finishing homework, having trouble focusing, or some combination. That led to the national study and ultimately the work that began thanks to the school district of taking a risk and allowing us in 2006 to begin our country's first Caregiving Youth project. So we're about to begin our 19th year. We've served more than 3,000 students. Our high school graduation rate is 98%. And students stay with us from 6th grade through high school graduation, about 5.5 years. So your impact is beyond Palm Beach County. So we have just recently participated in a national documentary with PBS, which featured one of our students. We have affiliations in several other states, including Hawaii, Colorado, North Carolina, Rhode Island, New York, Massachusetts. And finally, we're in a nursing textbook, and it specifically cites the American Association of Caregiving Youth. So I just need to say thank you for allowing us to be within your schools. We had 0 schools when we began at Boca Middle in 2006. We're now in 44 schools, plus additional schools that don't have our full program yet. Our census has increased 47.7% in the last 2 years. So this is a growing issue, and so we really need your ongoing support and cooperation. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Superintendent, that's going to bring us back to our agenda. It looks like it's going to be POLCHW 3.
Yes, I recommend the board approve development of proposed revised policy 5.1813, Student Code of Conduct for secondary students grades 6 through 12.
Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Ms. Branch. Mr. Ferguson, did you pull that?
I did pull it, but in light of what transpired after the last discussion, I don't want to belabor this. I'll speak with Mr. Oswald and Ms. Carmona. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with 6 in favor and Mr. Ferguson in opposition.
POLCHW 4, I recommend the board approve development of proposed revised policy 5.1814, zero tolerance policy.
Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Ms. Whitfield. Mr. Ferguson?
On page 4, Madam Chair, question to Superintendent. Section F, what does, quote, documented concerning behaviors mean? Similar question as before, I didn't see where we actually define what a concerning behavior is.
Ask Mr. Oswald to respond. Thank you.
So this is a new language that came from a new statute that allows the threat management team to extend an expulsionary period. So this is just came out. We took language from the statute, documented, and I'm trying to find the exact line 158 you're referring to, I believe. So this would be documented within the school through a school-based team or a child study team, depending on a student that has repetitive disruptive behaviors. There's also new language in another policy that requires any student with repetitive disruptive behavior to go to a child study team or a school-based team for us if they're not ESE. So this would be documented in the school-based team plan. So that would be documented through anything from behavior plans, a number of things that are listed in the code of conduct as far as intervention.
And
If they feel the expulsion should be extended.
If I could jump in, this actually comes straight from the House Bill 1255. And one of the reasons for this, and we actually added language saying based on, the bill actually says based on the threat management team's recommendation. So I don't know if you're aware, but statute now requires certain behaviors to be assessed by a threat management team, and it's a highly regulated process that uses an instrument that was developed by the state to find out what the level of threat that student's behavior poses to the school. Particularly when there are posts about, threats to a school campus or threats to a person or use of weapons on school property. So the idea here is that the concept behind, based on the legislative history for this new language in HB 1255, was that if there continues to be a threat, if the threat management team meets again and they're reviewing the student and the student is continuing to post threats online, or the student has been arrested again for a weapons-related offense, that then the superintendent, based on that threat management team's recommendation that, yes, this student presents a high-level threat, that student would remain in a more structured environment where he would receive more supports and services than he would in a comprehensive campus.
Yeah, and I apologize. Concerning behaviors is defined through the threat management training that the threat management team receives, such as the behavior that Ms. Carmona described.
Which statute are you all referring to?
It is now codified. It was House Bill 1255, and it is now codified at 1006.13 3A.
1006.13 3A?
Yes.
And then, Mr. Oswald, just for persons who may be interested as well, where would they go to find these definitions that you just referenced? Where would they find it inside of the district, on the district's website?
So threat management training is required from last year's legislation. So we will be training all school-based personnel, all students, on concerning behaviors, threats and concerning behaviors, how to use Fortify Florida, safe spaces. It's required now in statute. So everybody who's school-based related will get that training. We updated the whole training. We'll be releasing it to principals July 24th at our leadership summit. And if anybody wants a copy of that training, we can put it out. In fact, the state encourages us to hold meetings with parents regarding concerning behaviors. So we are also letting our principals know to be sure to be using that in their SAC meetings and any type of meeting with parents and community of what these concerning behaviors are.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, I believe that takes us to POL-COS 2. I recommend the board approve adoption of proposed revised policy 1.091, Audit Committee.
Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Mr. Lane. Any discussion, Mr. Ferguson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I pulled this because it seems like every time we address these DEI-related policies, some new bit of information comes out. So the board may recall when we voted 6-1 to repeal this policy, I believe that was 2 months ago, the county had not had a chance to take a bite at the apple. And so what's interesting to me is that although I know the county has a larger budget than us, I believe they're, according to the website, about $9 billion, and Superintendent Burke, correct me if I'm wrong, are we just under $6 billion, or are we at $6 billion, roughly?
We're under, I believe we're about 5.7 billion. Yeah,
So they too were facing down the barrel of a gun in terms of possibly losing $300 million in federal support. In spite of that, Well, let me ask this question of Attorney Bernard. In your opinion, are all of our policies in compliance with federal law as they currently are constituted? Before we even revise them, were they in compliance with all federal laws that come to your mind?
Yes.
Okay. That's relevant to me because you all have this ordinance 2025-014. I took time to highlight the relevant sections of it, and the county said that they maintain that all of its ordinances and programs are legal under federal law, and they acknowledge that they received roughly $330 million in federal grant funds for the fiscal year 2025. But instead of repealing their DEI policies, they just chose to suspend them, mainly because everything's still up in the air in terms of litigation. You don't know how this is all going to play out. I suspect one or more of you may believe that ultimately, once this gets to the Supreme Court, that the Supreme Court will support the administration, but you don't respectfully have a crystal ball. All you can do is kind of play the ball where it lies. And right now, where it lies is that the courts that have weighed in on this have stated that you should not capitulate to these instructions to remove any DEI policies. But I understand at this point that would be a hard walk back for the greater majority of the board. So I would propose that we have this out in the form of suspending our DEI policies. So to not belabor this point, and I don't want, because it's going to be the same point made for all these other policies as well. So, Madam Chair, I would move that we suspend policy 1.091.
We have a
titled
motion.
Adult
I'm
Committee
sorry.
Adoption.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Savalleto. Now, Ms. Bernard?
Yes, sorry, but I need to interject just a little bit, and I would like to call Gina Lizer to the table because before the board gets too into the weeds on considering what the county did, I think it's important to note that the rules regulating the county are significantly different from the rules that we are to adhere to. So I would not want any decision by the board to be misplaced by following something that the county did. And Ms. Lizer is here. She's looked at the differences between, we had looked at this previously. And so if the board feels it's beneficial to go through the differences, we can do that. But I just want to be careful that the board isn't relying on the rules and the statutes that are applicable to the county for their ordinances and confusing that with the APA, which is different, and the rules that apply to school boards.
I'm not confusing them. I just use them as an example of a governing body that's comparable, frankly, larger in size than us, which a similar amount to lose, that chose to suspend their policies versus actually repealing them. It's just the optics of it all. You've heard a number of people come here today and in prior board meetings and tell you how it is essentially offensive to them that we will repeal things that just last year we stood by. In fact, I think it's kind of ironic, Madam Chair, if I could have a brief indulgence. Looking at these policies, I noticed that we always...
You can put his microphone back on, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very briefly, down in priority outcomes, we almost always have educate, affirm, and inspire checked. And so I do think that's laughable in terms of comedic in this instance, because how does this change or repealing of policy 1.091 and the others that I pulled, I won't belabor this point with those other 6, how does this educate, what is it educating, I should say, our students in our community about who is it actually affirming and who does it actually inspire? I don't think it affirms or inspires anyone who cares about the uplift of all students here in Palm Beach County and wants to make as well-rounded a student as possible. And to Attorney Bernard, I don't know, I've not seen any information, I've not heard of any information as well from any regarding the handful of districts that have stood pat and have said, look, we believe our policies comply with all federal laws currently in place, and we're not going to sign the letters and the information that you want us to sign. And I haven't seen where they have necessarily lost out on any more money than we already are losing out. We've done everything that we're supposed to do, and Superintendent Burke spoke to us during his superintendent comments about money that's up in the air. I believe Superintendent Burke, correct me if I'm wrong, is it roughly 30 million or so you said is under consideration?
31.5.
Yeah, that's roughly 30 million. I mean, million here, million there. I mean, yeah, 30 million. So even when you do what is asked of you, there's still some consequence. So I think we should always put the child's interest at heart, put the child's interest first in anything we do. And so a lot of our children have come here. You had a young lady, I believe she said she was a Spanish River grad, and she's at Florida. I don't hold that against her. And she said, hey, these policies really help increase and enhance my experience here in Palm Beach County, and there are many other people just like me who have and would still benefit. And I do think at the end of the day, even at risk of losing some money from the federal government, we still should always do what's in the best interest of our children. If we were to lose this $300 million, which we won't, but if we did, sure, that would hurt us, but we would still go on. And so I don't think we should ever vote because of fear. Everybody's not fearful, but some do have apprehension that we might potentially lose the money. And I'm thinking this might be an out, respectfully, if we were simply to suspend, acknowledging the people who have taken time over these last several months to say, hey, stop, rethink what you're doing. This doesn't make me feel good. This doesn't make me feel like the school district of Palm Beach County or school district of Palm Beach County is my best choice. So I'm thinking, hey, maybe we can just suspend them.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? For the motion, that's the motion to suspend versus repeal.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. No more discussion. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, so motion fails with Ms. Savietto and Mr. Ferguson in favor, and Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Vice Chair Andrews, and Chairwoman Brill opposed. So that's going to bring us back now to the original motion. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with 5 board members in favor and Ms. Savietto and Mr. Ferguson opposed.
I recommend the board approve adoption of proposed revised policy 3.05, equal employment opportunity policy.
A motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Ms. Branch. Mr. Ferguson.
I move that we suspend policy 3.05.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Savietto. Mr. Ferguson, did you have any further comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to suspend versus repeal. All those in favor, say aye. That's to suspend. All opposed? Okay, so I got you. So the motion fails with Ms. Savietto and Mr. Ferguson in favor, and Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Vice Chair Andrews, and Chairwoman Brill in opposition. That brings us back now to the original motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with Ms. Savietto and Mr. Ferguson in opposition and 5 in favor. That brings us to the next one, Mr. Superintendent.
I recommend the board approve adoption of proposed revised policy 5.60, eligibility for participation in K-12 extracurricular activities.
Okay, motion by Vice Chair Andrews, second by Ms. Branch. Mr. Ferguson.
Madam Chair, I move that we suspend policy 5.60.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? I don't see a second, Mr. Ferguson, so the motion dies. Oh, you're going to, Ms. Savietto, are you now going to second his motion? Okay, so we have a motion now to suspend versus to repeal. Is there any further discussion? Okay.
No, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Ferguson.
No further
okay.
discussion. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. So all in favor of the motion to suspend versus repeal? All opposed? Ms. Savietto, I'm not clear on what you just voted. Okay, we're voting on the motion to suspend versus to repeal. And are you in, so the motion is all in favor?
To suspend, I'm in favor of suspension. Yeah.
Okay, you voted the opposite way, so, okay. All opposed, okay. So motion carries with Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Savalleto.
Madam Chair, I
I'm
think
sorry, motion fails, I'm
there was
sorry.
some overtalk. No, I think we were trying to vote up or vote down my motion to suspend. I voted in favor. I think you had some, I thought I heard you say that you were unclear as to whether Board Member Savalleto was voting in favor of the motion to suspend or not. And so I thought we were doing that vote, which is why my hand was up.
No, I got you. That's the vote that we're doing, and so but I misspoke. The motion failed, okay? So the
Right,
motion
yes.
failed with Ms. Savalleto and Mr. Ferguson in favor, and the rest of the board, other 5 board members in opposition. So that's now going to bring us back to the original motion to repeal this policy. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion carries with Ms. Savalleto and, I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry, this is a revision of the policy. Okay, that's adoption of the policy. Okay, I'm sorry, this is the adoption of the policy. It's getting to be a long night, so, okay, so all in favor of the adoption of the policy? All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Policy COS 8, I'm sorry. We're checking the vote here.
Yeah,
Ms. Sinclair?
We clarified that it's an adoption of the policy. Yes, that's how they just voted. You voted in favor of adoption of the policy, correct, to Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Savalleto? The board clerk just wants to make sure that you understand that you voted in favor of the adoption of the policy. It's the adoption of the eligibility for participation in K-12 extracurricular activities.
So
This is not the one about suspension.
So the motion made by Mr. Ferguson failed, and so now this is the original adoption of the policy, and everybody voted in favor, so we're just clarifying that that's correct.
I don't vote, I'm voting in opposition specific to
Okay.
Section 5, line
Okay.
8, page 38 and 39.
So then to
Line 38 and
correct-
39.
Okay, so let's correct, thank you to the board clerk. We're going to change the vote to the motion passes with Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Savalleto in opposition.
Okay, policy COS 8. I recommend the board approve adoption of repeal policy 6.14, diversity in business practices.
Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Mr. Ferguson.
I move that we suspend policy 6.142.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Savalleto. Any discussion? All in favor? Ms. Savalleto, are you voting in favor of suspending? Yes. Okay, you need to vote, please. All opposed? Okay, motion fails with Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Vice Chair Andrews, and Board Chair Brill in opposition. Okay, that brings us now to the original motion. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with Ms. Savalleto and Mr. Ferguson in opposition.
Policy COS 9. I recommend the board approve adoption of repeal policy 6.143, diversity and equitable utilization in business.
Okay, motion by Ms. Branch, second by Ms. Whitfield. Mr. Ferguson.
I move to suspend policy 6.143.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to suspend, second by Ms. Savalleto. Any further discussion? All in favor? Ms. Savalleto, are you in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion fails with Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Ms. Vice Chair Andrews, and Board Chair Brill in opposition. That brings us back to the original motion. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with Ms. Savalleto and Mr. Ferguson in opposition.
Policy COS 10, I recommend the board approve adoption of policy 6.1434, Small Business Enterprise Program.
Motion by Ms. Whitfield, second by Ms. Branch. Mr. Ferguson.
Madam Chair, I move to suspend policy 6.1434.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Savalletto. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion fails with Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Vice Chair Andrews, and Board Chair Brill in opposition. That brings us now to the original motion. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with Ms. Savalletto and Mr. Ferguson in opposition.
Policy COS 11, I recommend the board approve adoption of proposed revised policy 7.081, non-discrimination statement.
Motion by Ms. Branch, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Any discussion?
Motion to suspend policy 6.081.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Savalletto. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ms. Whitfield? Okay. Okay, so motion fails with Mr. Lane, Ms. Whitfield, Ms. Branch, Vice Chair Andrews, and Board Chair Brill in opposition. That brings us to the original motion. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with Ms. Savalletto and Mr. Ferguson in opposition. So that's going to end that portion of the agenda, and will bring us now to the board discussion item. Mr. Ferguson, that you have?
Madam Chair, hope fairly briefly. This is something I've mentioned since I came on the board in 2022, that it's a rhetorical question, but our district property, is it our property or is it the property of the neighborhood in which it resides? And obviously it's our district property. And so I think there needs to be greater uniformity in terms of the exterior appearance of it, and also the equipment that we afford the children to use inside of the schools. So whether we're talking about musical equipment, whether we're talking about gym equipment, it needs to be more in line, irrespective of where the school happens to be. And the school needs to look a certain way. So for example, in District 7, Suncoast High School, which is my alma mater, and JFK are within less than a stone's throw away from each other. By my account, Suncoast has been painted, I believe, twice in the last 5 years, I believe. JFK has been painted once. When I look at other schools inside of District 7, a lot of times they kind of, in some ways, kind of mirror the neighborhoods that they sit in. A lot of the schools are in what we would call lower middle to lower class in terms of household income. And so those schools sometimes look like they're not necessarily as cared for by the district, frankly, as well as, say, a school when I go out to, say, some of the southwestern areas of the county. As far as that goes, like West Boca reminds me of almost like a small Palm Beach State. It's a beautiful campus. I'd love to attend a school like that. So it begs the question, why so many schools in the lower economic ends of the county are allowed to look at one way when the schools in the more affluent areas are allowed and expected to look another way. And so this is a continuation of a conversation that I had, I believe it was last month, in which I thought that we need to encourage persons inside of each municipality to have their own foundations. Ed Foundation is not really equipped to do what I'm asking. They're doing all they can to help make sure that all our teachers have adequate school supplies, and that's yeoman's work. And I really appreciate all the good work that team has been doing for the number of years they've been here. But nobody is really speaking to this other issue, musical instruments. We know that music is a gateway to help improve and enhance overall student performance. We know that. It's documented. Many reports have been done over the years. But also this issue of athletics. I think we need to sincerely consider doing more for our respective students. NIL can be a familial, when I say familial, F-A-M-I-L-A-L, F-A-M-I-L-I-A-L, change, because a lot of these young men and women are receiving monies in their freshman through senior years that many of us frankly haven't made as far as the annual income. And so when you couple that with the increased financial literacy that I see sprouting up throughout our different high schools, I think we need to do a better job of making sure these students are better equipped. Our budget is our budget, and we know it's going to looks like it's going to be getting constricted for the next couple.
You can put the microphone back on. There's
Yeah, there's no 3-minute for discussions, staff. And where are my subtitles, by the way? But in any event, in all seriousness, I do think this is something that we need to consider as a board, maybe putting our heads together with staff to maybe create an additional foundation whose charge is to make sure that all schools have adequate athletic equipment, adequate musical equipment, and things of that nature for our theater students as well, making sure that they have the proper acoustics and whatever else they need so that they can self-actualize as well. Like this is, we talk about CTE. That's definitely something I've been advocating for since day one. Student coming out of Royal Palm Beach or Seminole Ridge or wherever we have our GC program, they have certain certifications which might increase the likelihood of them getting a job in the 60s or 70s or more $1,000s. When the new Riviera Beach High School comes, I think there are going to be some programs there that will set those children up for starting jobs in the 80s and more. But with this NIL, I don't believe it's going to change anytime soon. These graduates have a realistic opportunity to make upwards of 125, 150. Wake Forest is paying their football team. Wake Forest. You would have to pay me to go to Wake Forest back when I was in school. They're getting $300,000. $300,000 to play football. That's amazing. So with proper financial literacy, this can be a game changer. So a lot of times, when I looked at West Boca and Atlantic last year, one thing I did notice is that it seems like West Boca has better equipment. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it definitely is something that helps them perform at a higher level. And I don't think, again, I'm not asking for us to set aside more money at the district per se, but I would like us to put our collective brains together to figure out a way to help fund all of our high schools so that they have the best track that they can have, the best basketball, football, baseball, rowing equipment, all these type of things. I feel like that's something that we owe our students, and it'll pay off, again, to help increase our actual attendance. Because if I send my child to West Boca or to Palm Beach Lakes and they have the best of the best in terms of athletic equipment, that's that many more children that we have there, which means we have probably more teachers. It can offer more programs, more robust, much more robust educational experience. So I really think this would be transformative. Like, I hate the fact that the pool closed at Lake Worth High. I understand the reasons and explanations for it at this point, but again, just wanted to make sure that we equip the students with every opportunity to be their best. And I think this is something that will be transformative, because I don't know of any other district in the country that's doing it, but just because no one else is doing it doesn't mean we can't be the first. We've led on a number of different things. And Superintendent Burke, you know that since you've been a superintendent, we've done a lot of things that nobody else really has tried to do, definitely not in the Southeast region in the state of Florida. So I think we should continue to be the leaders in this regard and find a way to make sure that all of our schools are much more uniform in their appearance and also in the resources that are afforded to our students inside of the campuses. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Burke?
I want to just let everyone know I support that mission and that goal to have, a level playing field across the district with all of our school facilities. And we're fortunate in Palm Beach County that our voters supported our half-penny sales tax. And that, along with that, which gives us revenue for the next 10 years to meet our capital needs, part of that is doing a facility condition assessment. And Mr. Sanchez and his team and this board approved a contract to complete that work. So every school will be evaluated. One thing that's hard to overcome sometimes is the age of the facility. So newer Western communities the schools appear newer because they are. And this board has been great about making the investment to go back to what our schools, that were built in the 1960s. We've recently reopened a brand new modernized Pine Grove Elementary School in Delray Beach, Winbrook Elementary, Melaleuca Elementary. So Mr. Sanchez and his team have been busy rebuilding these schools once they get to the point where a coat of paint's not going to do it. But a coat of paint's important. Mr. Sanchez, when he came back to our district, he's helped us paint over 100 schools, the exterior of those buildings, and we're also doing some interior painting. This school board, through the use of our ESSER money years ago, made a wise investment of $10 million into musical instruments. And I've received a lot of good feedback about what those dollars did to refresh the instruments in our bands across all of our secondary schools, and we're now adding music programs to our elementary schools thanks to that money. So, the work's never done. That is the goal. We want, if families entrust us with their child's education and they make the best choice, we want them to have good facilities. The sports gets a little trickier because we have sports programs that really benefit from outside fundraising. It's not even talking, I'm not even talking about NIL yet, just maybe a deal with Under Armour or Nike or what have you. And we've started a pilot. You know, we started it last year, but we've got, we're doubling the size of that pilot in our athletics, some of our high schools, where we're trying to bring all schools up to at least a standard. And then there may be schools that still, you know, when you're state champs and you've got everyone supporting you, you may be able to do a little extra. But we want to make sure at least everybody has what they need. The condition, you know, the helmets are being reconditioned, the field's in good shape. We do also have in our 10-year capital plan artificial turf project to bring all of our high school stadiums up to that standard. So there's a lot of work to be done, but you know, I recognize that you can't drive past every school and say we've completely hit the mark, and it's an ongoing challenge. But we're fortunate, again, I think we're moving in the right direction. I give a lot of that credit to Mr. Sanchez and his team. So thank you.
Okay, Ms. Whitfield?
Thank you. Excuse me. I do want to jump in on this because it's something that's really plagued me for a long time as well. You know, I have the two oldest schools in the district in my area. It is very difficult to maintain 100-year-old buildings, and excuse me, I apologize. I have been, you know, really looking at this as well. When you're in a community that has a large amount of funds, their PTAs really cover some of the things that other schools aren't able to do. So, you know, in some of my community schools, you know, we've got great support. Other ones, we don't have as much. And so to find a way to balance that, I think obviously our dollars, many years ago, I used to complain about paint all the time. And it was just so frustrating. But with our referendum, we've really been able to cover some ground on making sure the schools look better. But I do think that this facility assessment is crucial. I think we need to make sure that the look on the outside is really more consistent around the district, that, you know, painting is kept up. I know Mr. Sanchez has done a really great job of doing that equitably within our schools to make sure everyone is getting, you know, the things that they need. Again, I'm going to bring up landscaping. I bring this up a lot. I think we really do need to have plants in front of our schools, and that they need to be replaced periodically. They need to be added to really make our schools look appealing. People walk into a school and make a decision on whether or not they're going to go there based on the feeling they get when they walk in the front door. And so, you know, great grades is awesome, but I think we always have to consider what it looks like. So I appreciate you, Mr. Ferguson, bringing this up. How we can do more for schools that need more is something that we always have to consider, making sure that we're being as equitable as possible and that everybody's getting what they need. But for Dreyfus High School and Lake Worth High School, the buildings are so old. I know Mr. Burke told me he's spending a ton of money to try to get Lake Worth up to standards, but just to make it look beautiful again, it needs more. So I think that there's something here. Thank you.
Ms. Branch?
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Sanchez and his team because they do a lot with a little. And it's a big school district. And I think painting, Mr. Burke, or isn't that can only be done during the summer, which is kind of hard because you can't paint when the students are there, so it makes it more difficult?
No, we had to get creative to reach that number of 100 schools, so they're able to do nights and weekends and kind of work around the students. And the exterior, I was referring to exterior painting.
Well, so yeah.
That's a little easier. You know, the interior when the kids are present, you can't get that done.
Right. But even weekends, it's not 5 days a week. So thank you, Mr. Sanchez, for all you do and your team. You guys do a great job.
Vice Chair Andrews?
And I concur with all of you, especially right now with you, Ms. Branch, when you said thank you, Mr. Sanchez, because when I became a board member in 2010, and we had such a problem in the Glades region, Mr. Sanchez, you were there with us to build 3 new schools, not 1, not 2, but 3 new schools. And West Tech had been closed for 11 years, and we had to work hard to get West Technical Education Center opened back up. And it's open. We're doing some great things. In fact, we're getting ready to do something with Crossroads Academy. But I want to say thank you to Mr. Lane, because when I first came on the board, one of the biggest things I worked on was our technical schools. Our District 6 has a wonderful program at Seminole Ridge, but I remember the day when we had all of our technical schools working in the way you're talking about. They have in, was it Sarasota County? Sarasota, they're ahead of us, but we have come a long way under Mr. Burke's direction. I really want to make sure people know that, because I feel that one of my biggest things that I've done was work on making sure that we do quite a bit with our technical schools. And now with the new school coming in your region, Mr. Lane, you know, what has happened in Delray, Mr. Ferguson, with Delray Full Service, what has happened with Roosevelt right now, we've come a long way. Now, it takes time. I believe it takes time, so we're going to have to work on taking the time to do what we have to do. But I'm not shy, Mr. Ferguson, when I see that we need paint or whatever I see that we need at any of our schools. Mr. Burke, I'm sure Mr. Sanchez knows that I'm not shy about saying, I need you to come over to Pahokee. You know, we did a lot of work in the community to help paint that school. You say, oh, you all can't do it, but guess what? Your people did it. We got the school looking great. You know, we got Glade Central up and running. I mean, we just have to work together with the community, our business partners, and the district. It's all of our responsibilities to make our schools great. The facilities, the main thing, we want kids to come into a facility where they feel comfortable, excited about learning. And I think we've moved in that direction, and we've certainly moved in the direction for the technical piece with what has happened under Mr. Burke's leadership. And if you haven't seen it, you go to Delray Full Service, ride on Tamarind and see Roosevelt. Know that the money's in place for the new school at the North Technical Education Center. And we continually meet in the Glades region for West Technical Education Center every month with the community involvement about monies, needs to make it great. So as board members, it's our job to keep doing what we need to do. We can't sit and say it's going to happen overnight, but I think with the leadership of the district under Mr. Burke and the team, they've always been responsive of taking care of our district's facilities. And now, you know, we're A-rated academically. We're getting there, and we're going to catch those people in Sarasota County. So thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to weigh in before I keep calling on other people. But I just want to say that, Vice Chair Andrews, you hit the nail on the head. We have to engage our business partners, our communities. That's a big part of it. But long before I was on this school board, Hagen Road Elementary had open pods, and it was an old building. And my kids went to the old building. They did rebuild it. So we have chiseled away. We have rebuilt schools. We've refreshed schools. Back in the day when we opened Odyssey Middle School, it was Commissioner Aronson who gave money from the county commission to put in the plants around and did the landscaping for that school. So we need to engage everyone, whether it's the county commission, our business partners, but I agree that we also, to your point, Mr. Ferguson, I don't disagree. I've talked about the inequity in sports. I think that when we see things, we need to definitely let the superintendent know. Mr. Superintendent works closely with Mr. Sanchez. We've had some communities, I think Whispering Pines had the PTA come in and help with painting. So we do sometimes get our partners to do that. Some of us do have districts. I only have one tiny piece of Green Acres, but I don't have any municipalities. And the same thing goes a lot for Ms. Andrews, that, you know, we don't have municipalities to help. But it's a good conversation, I think, as things come up and what we see, we can engage our partners, get all of the children to be able to have the uniforms and what they need for sports, for music. But, you know, I wish we could take a brush and, you know, when we opened up West Boynton Middle School and Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School, my comments at those schools was, I wish every school had this. But there's no way that we can just immediately make sure that every single school has it, but we can certainly work towards that goal. Ms. Savallero, you're up next.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the business community. And you also have Boy Scouts. For example, Luca Boy Scouts Troop 204, it's in Lake Worth. You know, they need community hours and all this stuff. So, you know, not only the business community, but some of these boys and girls at the different clubs. I agree with Mrs. Whitfield. But she said, you know, bring them up to standard. And, you know, Mr. Sanchez, I don't remember how long you've been here, and I don't know who was before you, but thank you for what you're doing now. But again, why bring them up to standard, meaning that we let them drop? I mean, let's not go back to Lake Worth pool, right? So being an old building, I get it, but I mean, if it was the case, if you drove by Flamingo Park in West Palm Beach, you got beautiful historic homes that are super old and they're gorgeous and they cost more than $1 million. Why? Because they were kept up. And they look very historic on the outside and inside. Some of them are gorgeous. So I believe that we can make our schools and keep them up. Not let them, now we have to like rush to bring them up to standard. Again, this is what I like to see. If a school has a pool, you can't just close the doors and say 4 years later, well, the pool is no longer good to use it. I was invited to Lakeworth High School last year a couple times, to talk to the Latinos in Action, and I went to Lakeworth High. I graduated, my goodness, 1991. The school did not look any different from when I went. I mean, it did look different in the way that looked old and sad. I was sad to walk in that school and go, wow, it looks old, but it looks like brought down. So that was sad. The people there are amazing, the principal, the kids, the whole thing. But when we paint, even if we did our own homes, right? I mean, it lifts up the morale of not only, the kids wanting to come to that school, but also the neighborhood, right? And taking pride. So I hope that this is a new era with new management and that we don't forget any of our schools, district, Mrs. Phil's district, my district, all the ones that need that. I appreciate the work that you may be doing right now, of course, but let's not drop the ball on any of them, regardless of our budget. And then, of course, the community, it's ready to help us. I'm pretty sure we just have to find, like I told Mr. Burke, just let's give them a menu of all the things we may want and give them the opportunity to be part of our community in areas that maybe that nobody thought about. So thank you.
Mr. Ferguson.
Just wanted to ask Superintendent Burke, did we found the Ed Foundation as the school district?
I think it goes way back. I know the Economic Council, I think, was involved in Mr. William T. Dwyer, the namesake of our high school. Probably need to research that a little bit about its formation. I feel like it was something brought forward by the Economic Council.
Okay. Board Member Andrews, do you know? I know you've been the longest tenured board member. Do you remember? Okay. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was established before I became a board member. I think it was the Economic Council. I think maybe the Education Commission might have gotten involved. That's now defunct also, but there are other education foundations also around the state. So just so that you know that this isn't the only one.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I was just wondering. Okay, I can speak to the Economic Council if they're the ones that helped us get the first one started.
Mr. Lane?
Yes, I want to acknowledge Superintendent Burke for working with the city of Palm Beach Gardens when they came to us and wanted to collaborate. We were there for them. And I want to acknowledge Superintendent Burke and Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Dolan when we needed a new scoreboard at Palm Beach Gardens High School. The biggest rivalry in the North End is between Dwyer and Palm Beach Gardens High School, and right in the middle of the football game, the scoreboard for the 18th time stopped working. So thank you so much for getting on that, and I'm hearing from everyone in the community how happy they are that you're putting in the new scoreboard. So thank you for that, and thanks for keeping our schools in tip-top shape. Thank you very much for all of your hard work. I know that, as it was said by board member, by my board member from Boca Raton, my good friend, Gloria Branch. Thank you for doing so much with so little money.
Thank you. Vice Chair Andrews?
And I'll make it quick, and I want to thank Mr. Sanchez as well as Superintendent Burke and the team and all the people from maintenance that do this work every single day. Whenever I'm in a school, I stop to say thank you to them. They're the ones on the front line. But those media centers, I want to bring that up before we leave here. Superintendent Burke, to get those media centers upgraded all over the district, that's a big deal. So you've got yours. You know, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for Pahokee, and they got theirs, Wellington. I mean, so you're getting things done. We just have to be patient. And I really do thank Heather, the budget folks, and everybody with the money, and Leanne with the capital funds. We're putting those ideas out there, and it takes time before they materialize. I've been around for a lot of years, and I haven't gotten everything when I wanted it, but I was patient, and I stayed on it, and sooner or later, I got it. So thank you.
Okay, so that ends our discussion item. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by everybody, but motion by Ms. Branch, second by Vice Chair Andrews. Any discussion? All in favor, all opposed, motion carries unanimously. Have a good night, everybody.